Official Florida Driver License Handbook. Introduction. The official Florida Driver License Handbook is produced by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, FLHSMV. This guide has the information you need to prepare for the Florida Driver License Class E Knowledge Exam and Driving Skills Test and to help you drive safely and lawfully. Disclaimer. The official Florida Driver License Handbook contains many condensed and paraphrased points of Florida laws and provides safety advice not specifically addressed in the laws. The handbook is not a legal authority and is not intended for use in court. This handbook will not reflect any changes made by the Florida legislature after the last revision date, located at the bottom of this page. Warning. Florida law prohibits using a false name, making a false statement, concealing a material fact or otherwise using fraud in an application for a driver license or ID card. The penalty can be up to 5 years in prison, a $5,000 fine, and suspension of any existing driving privilege for at least 1 year. In addition, it is illegal to permit or authorize an unlicensed person to drive a motor vehicle, and doing so can result in a 60-day jail sentence and a $500 fine. If the vehicle is involved in a crash resulting in bodily injury or death of any person, the person who permitted the unlicensed person to drive may, unless this is an automatic mandatory suspension, have his/her license suspended for 1 year. Public records. Florida law requires the FLHSMV to collect certain personal information during the licensing process. This information, which identifies licensed individuals, is used for records management, driver improvement, financial responsibility, and law enforcement purposes. If you do not provide the required information, you will not receive a driver license or ID card. Florida's public records law makes all records made or received by FLHSMV in the course of its official business available for inspection, unless specifically exempted by law. Your personal information, including name, address, and driver license number, is exempt from public disclosure, but may be given to law enforcement agencies and other entities permitted by law to get the information. Your medical information, social security number, and emergency contact information are available only as specifically authorized by law. FLHSMV strives to ensure the accuracy of the information obtained during the licensing process. If you discover any incorrect information, please call us at 850-617-2000 or mail your request with your complete name, date of birth, driver license number, information about the error, and any documentation to support your request to Chief of the Bureau of Records, 2900 Appalachie Parkway, MS 89, Tallahassee, Florida 32399-0575. Some information, such as reports of convictions received from a court, can only be corrected if notification from the court is received that the report was in error. Pending Florida statute changes for 2020. As of the printing of this handbook, the following legislation has passed the Florida legislature and is contingent upon becoming law, or further action taken by the governor. Section 322.57, FS, effective July 1, 2020, requires FLHSMV to waive the requirement to pass the commercial driver license skills tests for certain service members and veterans. Sections 316.003, 316.008, 316.027, 316.083, 316.1995, 316.2065, 316.20655, 316.306, 316.613, 316.614, 320.01, 320.08, 322.01, and 324.021, FS, effective July 1, 2020, creates regulations governing the operation of electric bicycles. Sections 322.08, 322.14, FS, effective October 1, 2020, requires application forms for driver licenses and identification cards to include language allowing a voluntary contribution to Live Like Bella Childhood Cancer Foundation. Additionally, authorizes an optional D designation on the driver license of a person who has been diagnosed with a developmental disability. Sections 320.06, 320.0657, 320.08, 320.08053, 320.08056, 320.08058, 320.08062, 320.08068, 320.08007, 320.089, 320.08991, 320.0894, FS, effective October 1, 2020, amends several provisions of law related to specialty license plates, SLPS. Authorizes new SLPS and caps the number of SLPS in the state. Revises the pre-sale requirements for the issuance of a SLP. Additionally, authorizes the election of a permanent registration period for certain vehicles. Section 318.18, FS, effective January 1, 2021, increases the minimum civil penalty for failure to stop for a school bus from $100 to $200. For a subsequent offense within 5 years, FLHSMV must suspend the driver license of the driver for not less than 6 months and not more than 1 year. The bill also increases the minimum civil penalty for passing a school bus on the side that children enter and exit from $200 to $400. For a subsequent offense within 5 years, FLHSMV must suspend the driver license of the driver for not less than 1 year and not more than 2 years. Table of Contents. Contact Info. Inside Front Cover. Introduction. I. Public Records. I. Law Changes for 2020. 2. Part 1, Driving in Florida. 1. Preparing to drive, your vehicle. 3. Getting ready to drive, 3. Equipment Standards, 3. Required Equipment, 3. Equipment Not Permitted, 4. Bumper Height Requirements, 4. Keep your car in good condition, 4. Anti-lock brake system, 5. Trailers, towing, and load, 5. Drawbar or towing connection, 5. Securing the load, 5. Projecting load, 6. Slow-moving vehicle, 6. 2. Preparing to drive, you the driver. 7. Physical conditions, 7. Drowsy driving, 7. Emotions, 7. Road rage, 8. Distracted driving, 8. Drinking and driving, 9. Drugged driving, 9. Older drivers, 10. Florida 511 Traffic Info, 10. 3. Occupant Protection, 11. Seat belts and child restraints, 11. Leaving children unsupervised in vehicles, 12. 4. Traffic controls, 13. Pavement markings, 13. Edge lines, 13. White lane lines, 13. Yellow lane lines, 14. Turn lanes, 14. Reversible lanes, 14. Bicycle lanes, 14. White stop lines, 15. Crosswalks, 15. Other markings, 15. Traffic signs, 15. Traffic sign colors, 15. Traffic sign shapes, 16. Regulatory signs, 16. Warning signs, 18. Informational signs, 21. Traffic signals, 21. Steady signal lights, 21. Flashing signal lights, 22. Lane signals, 22. Ramp signals, 23. Pedestrian signals, 23. Zones of caution, 24. School zone signs and signals, 24. Railroad crossing signs and signals, 24. Drawbridge signs and signals, 25. Construction/maintenance signs and signals, 26. 5. Driving safely, 27. Speed limits, 27. Braking distance, 28. Smooth stops, 29. Making turns, 29. 3-point turn, 30. Intersections, 30. Open intersections, 30. Roundabouts, 31. Driveways, 31. Traffic lanes, 31. Safe following distances, 32. Following distance for trucks, 33. Blind spots, 33. Passing, 33. Passing on the right, 33. You must not pass, 34. Being passed, 34. Limited access highways, 34. Entering and leaving limited access highways, 34. Limited access safety reminders, 35. Parking, 36. Parking on hills, 36. Against the law to park, 37. Parking lights, 37. Straight-in parking, 37. Backing up, 37. Table of contents continued. 6. Sharing the road, 39. Sharing the road with pedestrians, 39. Rules for motorists, 39. Rules for pedestrians, 39. Pedestrian safety tips, 40. Right of way, 40. Sharing the road with bicycles, 40. Rules for motorists, 40. Rules for bicyclists, 41. Bicyclist safety tips, 41. Motorcycle awareness, 42. Laws for motorcycle/moped, 42. Tips for motorists, 42. School buses, 43. School crossings, 43. Emergency vehicles, 44. Florida's Move Over Law, 44. Funeral processions, 44. Public transit, 44. Commercial motor vehicles, 44. Rules for motorists, 44. Passing commercial vehicles, 45. Golf carts, 46. Low-speed vehicles, 46. 7. Special driving situations, 47. Night driving, 47. Low visibility, 48. Rain, 48. Animals, 49. Following law enforcement instructions, 49. 8. Handling emergencies, 51. Defensive driving, 51. Avoiding rear-end collisions, 51. Breakdown/disabled vehicles, 51. Vehicle approaching in your lane, 52. Right wheels of pavement, 52. Overcorrection, 52. Skidding/hydroplaning, 52. Emergency braking, 52. Brake failure, 52. Wet brakes, 53. Jammed gas pedal, 53. Tire blowout, 53. Fire, 53. Stalled on railroad tracks, 53. Submerged vehicle, 54. Power outage, 54. Your responsibilities after a crash, 54. Leaving the scene, 55. Hit and run penalties, 55. First aid, 55. 9. Your driving privilege, 57. Insurance laws, 57. No fault law, 57. Financial responsibility law, 58. Vehicle registration, 59. Applying for title, plates and registration, 59. Renewal, 59. Violations of the driver license law, 60. Time restrictions for minors, driving curfew, 60. Littering, 60. Road damage, 60. Driving under the influence, DUI, 60. Implied consent law, 61. Penalties for DUI, 61. Zero tolerance, 61. Traffic crashes, 62. 3 crashes in 3 years law, 62. Point system, 63. Mandatory restriction for minors, 63. Losing the privilege to drive, 64. Penalties for passing a stopped school bus, 65. Administrative hearings, 66. Disabled parking permit, 66. Part 2, the Florida driver license. 68. 10. Getting your license or ID card. 69. Definitions, 69. Who needs a Florida license to drive? 69. Exceptions for the Florida driver license, 69. Florida driver license classifications, 70. Requirements for Class E license, 70. Learner's license, 70. Reciprocity, 71. Traffic law and substance abuse education, 71. Parental consent for minors, 71. Physical and mental requirements, 71. Restriction codes, 72. Identification requirements, 72. Primary identification, 73. Social Security number or secondary ID, 74. Proof of residential address, 75. ID cards, 76. ID cards for homeless persons, 76. ID cards for persons at / below poverty level, 76. License renewal, 77. Renewal issuance requirements, 77. Renewing online, 77. Driver license / ID card replacement, 78. Replacement requirements, 78. Change of address, 78. Name changes, 78. Veterans, 79. Veteran designation on license or ID card, 79. Exempt fees for 100% disabled U.S. vets, 79. Selective service, 79. Sexual offenders and sexual predators, 79. Career offenders, 80. Emergency contact information, 80. Florida Organ and Tissue Donor Program, 80. Voluntary contributions, 80. Fees, 82. 11. Driving school providers, 85. TLSA course, 85. Third-party driver license exams, 85. Basic driver improvement course, 85. Advanced driver improvement courses, 86. Licensed DUI programs, 86. Older driver courses, 86. 12. Driver license testing, 87. Testing options, 87. License examinations, 87. Vision, 87. Class E knowledge exam, 88. Driving skills test, 88. Vehicle inspection, 89. Study guide for the test, 91. FLHSMV.gov online services. Inside back cover. Important info for minor drivers. Learner's license. Must always drive accompanied by a licensed driver, age 21 or older, who rides in the closest seat to the right of the driver. Must only drive during daylight hours during the first 3 months after earning learner's license. After 3 months, may drive until 10 p.m. Must have at least 50 hours driving experience prior to getting driver license, and 10 hours should be at night. Age 16 with driver license. Must not drive between 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless driving to or from work or accompanied by a licensed driver who is age 21 or older. Age 17 with driver license. Must not drive between 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. unless driving to or from work or accompanied by a licensed driver who is age 21 or older. Driving record points. Any driver under the age of 18 who accumulates 6 or more points within a 12-month period is automatically restricted for 1 year to driving for business purposes only. Remember, always carry your driver license with you when driving, and always have proof of vehicle registration and insurance with you in the vehicle you are driving. Congratulations! If you are opening this handbook, you are more than likely looking to join the next generation of licensed drivers in Florida. Driving is a tremendous privilege and responsibility. The Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, FLHSMV, provides this official Florida driver license handbook to give you the foundational knowledge to be safe behind the wheel and become a lifelong safe driver. Florida continues to change and evolve, and technology continues to have significant impacts on highway safety. In 2019, Florida adopted life-saving legislation to enforce the restriction on texting, emailing and instant messaging behind the wheel. The decision to text and drive can have deadly consequences, affecting everyone on the road. I urge you, put it down and focus on driving. As we drive into the future, Florida is leading the nation in the promotion of automated vehicle technology to create safer vehicles and improve transportation options. Self-driving vehicles will soon be rolling out on our roadways, and I encourage you to learn more about sharing the road safely with these vehicles. Driving can unlock a world of opportunity, but this privilege also comes with enormous risk. Educating yourself on the various rules of the road and preparing for the challenges you may face are important steps in giving you the confidence you need to drive safely. Carefully review this handbook to ensure you and the millions of people who travel Florida's roadways can arrive alive. Terry L. Rhodes, Executive Director, Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. Part 1: Driving in Florida. 1. Preparing to drive, your vehicle. 2. Preparing to drive, you the driver. 3. Occupant protection. 4. Traffic controls. 5. Driving safely. 6. Sharing the road. 7. Special driving situations. 8. Handling emergencies. 9. Your driving privilege. Fact: buckling up is the single most effective thing you can do to protect yourself in a crash. Fact: seat belts reduce serious crash-related injuries and deaths by almost half. Fact: Florida law requires all drivers and front seat passengers to wear seat belts. Fact: Florida law requires that all passengers under the age of 18 wear a safety belt. Children under the age 4 must be in a child safety seat, children ages 4 and 5 must be in a child safety seat or booster seat. Seat belts save lives. Fact. End of story. Preparing to drive, your vehicle. 1. Getting ready to drive. Before you start your engine, be sure vehicle is in park or neutral. Adjust the seat so you can reach all controls. Adjust all rear view mirrors so that you can use them without having to lean forward or backward. Move anything that blocks your view of mirrors or roadway. Lock all car doors. Put your seatbelt on and make sure all passengers do the same. Equipment standards. The equipment on your car must meet certain standards. You may be stopped at any time by law enforcement for a vehicle inspection. Required equipment. Brakes, 2 braking systems. Each must be able to stop the car alone. The parking or emergency brake should be strong enough to hold the car on any hill. Low beam headlights, show objects 150 feet ahead. Visible from 1000 feet. High beam headlights, show objects 450 feet ahead. Visible from 1000 feet. Tail lights, 2 red tail lights. Visible from 1000 feet. Brake lights, 2 red brake lights. Visible from 300 feet in the daytime. License plate light, white light that makes the license plate visible from 50 feet. Directional signals, amber or white, front, or red, rear. Visible from 500 feet. Horn, heard from a distance of 200 feet. Mirrors, at least one rear view mirror with view 200 feet to the rear. Windshield wiper, in good working order to clear the driver's view. Windshields *, must be safety glass and may not be covered or treated with any material that makes the windshield reflective or non-transparent. Must be free of any stickers not required by law. Side and rear windows *, may not be composed of, covered by, or treated with any material which has a highly reflective or mirrored appearance and reflects more than 25% of the light, side windows, or more than 35% of the light, rear window. Tires, should have a minimum tread of at least 3/32 of an inch or greater, and no worn spots showing the ply. See FS 316.2953 and FS 316.2954 for details on window tint restrictions. Equipment not permitted. Red lights visible from front or blue lights. For emergency/law enforcement vehicles only. More than 2 spotlights, cowl or fender lights, fog lights, or other extra lights. A siren, bell, or whistle. A very loud muffler, heard from more than 50 feet, or one that emits smoke. Signs, posters, or stickers on the windshield or windows, except if required by law. A television-type receiver that the driver can see. Headsets/headphones worn by driver while operating a vehicle. Bumper height requirements. Owners of automobiles and pickup trucks are required to have both front and rear bumpers mounted within certain height levels. Height limitations are governed by the net shipping weight of the vehicle, not the modified or altered weight. The maximum allowable heights between the pavement and bottom of the front and rear bumper are: vehicle weight front-rear. Cars less than 2,500 pounds. 22 inches. 22 inches. Cars 2,500 to 3,499 pounds. 24 inches. 26 inches. Cars greater than or equal to 3,500 pounds. 27 inches. 29 inches. Trucks less than 2,000 pounds. 24 inches. 26 inches. Trucks 2,000 to 3,000 pounds. 27 inches. 29 inches. Trucks 3,000 to 5,000 pounds. 28 inches. 30 inches. Emissions control devices. It is illegal to tamper with, remove, or cause not to work any pollution control device on your vehicle. Tampering will damage your vehicle and can cause increased air pollution, lower gas mileage, less vehicle efficiency, breathing difficulties. Keep your car in good condition. Brakes, check to see that the pedal stays well above the floor when you step on it. If the car pulls to one side when you use the brakes or if you hear any scraping or squealing noises, your brakes may need to be repaired. Lights, check lights often, replace burned out bulbs and keep lenses clean. Tires, inspect often for proper inflation/tire pressure, even tread wear, and damage. Windows and windshields, keep the glass clean inside and out. Rear window, if the rear window is covered by or treated with any material that makes it non-transparent, the vehicle must be equipped with side mirrors on both sides that allow the driver a view to the rear of at least 200 feet. Read your vehicle owner's manual. It is an excellent resource for information specific to your vehicle, such as what types of fluids your car requires, what dashboard warning lights mean, what your car services intervals are, and more. Anti-lock brake system. Anti-lock brake system, ABS, prevents skidding and allows drivers to steer during an emergency braking situation. ABS can help improve vehicle stability, steering ability, and stopping capability. It is important to know if your vehicle has ABS because it will affect the way you should stop in an emergency situation. Drivers with ABS need to press down hard on the brake pedal, hold it, and steer out of danger. In an emergency situation, the ABS automatically pumps the brakes at a faster rate than the driver could. Removing steady pressure from the brake pedal or pumping the brakes will disengage or turn of the ABS. Drivers with conventional brakes must pump the brakes in order to stop in an emergency situation where traction is lost and the vehicle slides. You can determine if the vehicle has ABS by looking for a lighted ABS symbol on the dashboard right after starting the engine, checking the owner's manual, or asking the dealer. Trailers, towing, and load. Equipment requirements. Trailer, semi-trailer, or pole trailer weighing 3,000 pounds or less. Rear 2 reflectors, 1 at each side *. A brake light if the trailer or load blocks/hides the brake lights on the towing vehicle. Trailer or semi-trailer weighing more than 3,000 pounds. Front 2 clearance lamps, 1 at each side. Each side 2 side marker lamps, 1 at or near the front and 1 at or near the rear. 2 reflectors, 1 at or near the front and 1 at or near the rear. Rear 2 clearance lamps, 1 at each side, and 2 reflectors, 1 at or near the front and 1 at or near the rear *. Brakes that can be operated by the driver in the towing vehicle. They must be designed and connected so that they will automatically stop the trailer if it breaks away from the towing vehicle. Pole trailer weighing more than 3,000 pounds. Each side 1 side marker lamp and 1 clearance lamp. Rear 2 reflectors, 1 at each side *. Every motor vehicle, trailer, semi-trailer, and pole trailer must have 2 or more stop lamps. 1 stop lamp is permitted on vehicles built before January 1, 1972. Drawbar or towing connection. The drawbar or towing connection must be strong enough to pull all towed weight. Not be more than 15 feet long unless you are towing poles, pipes, machinery, or other objects that cannot be easily taken apart, and have a white flag at least 12 inches square attached to it if it is chain, rope, or cable. Securing the load. You must not drive or move any loaded vehicle on the highway if the load is not secure. The load must not be able to drop, shift, leak, or otherwise escape. You must use a close-fitting cover when hauling loads which could fall or blow onto the roadway, e.g., dirt, sand, gravel. Every truck carrying logs or pulpwood must use locked chains to securely fasten the load. Projecting load. A load that extends beyond the sides of a vehicle and more than 4 feet or more beyond its rear must be clearly marked. During the day, red flags at least 18 inches square must mark the extremities of the load. Requirements from sunset to sunrise, and during any rain, smoke, or fog include 2 red lamps on the back of the load that can be seen from at least 500 feet to the rear, 2 red reflectors on the rear that can be seen from 100 to 600 feet when directly in front of low beam headlights, and located to show the load's full width, and/or 1 red lamp on each side of the load, visible from at least 500 feet to show maximum overhang of load. If the trailer or motor vehicle is transporting logs, pulpwood, poles, or posts that extend more than 4 feet beyond the rear of the load, you must have 1 amber strobe type lamp equipped so that the lamp is visible from the rear and both sides of the projecting load. The lamp must be operational and seen any time of day or night. Passenger vehicles must not be driven on any highway with a load extending beyond the fenders on the left side of the vehicle or extending more than 6 inches beyond the line of the fenders on the right side. Slow-moving vehicles. Farm vehicles designed for operation at speeds less than 25 miles per hour must display this sign on the rear when using public highways, not limited access/interstates. Also, these vehicles must only be operated during daylight hours unless equipped with the proper lights/reflectors required for night driving. Preparing to drive, you the driver too. Driving an automobile is a huge responsibility. In order to drive safely, you must be fully engaged, hands on the wheel, eyes on the road, and mind on driving. Anything that affects your physical or mental condition can impair your ability to drive. Physical conditions. It is important that you get regular vision, hearing, and general physical checkups. Get treatment for illnesses and avoid driving when sick. Remember that whenever you are prescribed medication, you should ask your doctor or pharmacist how it can affect your driving. Drowsy driving. Drowsy driving can be just as dangerous as drunk driving. Do not drive when you are tired. It is risky to drive drowsy because fatigue, being sleepy, can slow your thought processes and reaction time, affect your judgment and vision, impair your senses and abilities, and/or cause microsleeping, nodding off, or falling completely asleep. The two main causes of drowsy driving are lack of quality/quantity of sleep and driving at times of the day when you would normally be sleeping. Avoid driving drowsy. Don't drive at times when you would normally be asleep. Get a good night's sleep before you travel. On long trips, take a break every 100 miles or 2 hours. If you think you might fall asleep, find a safe place to stop and take a nap. Use the buddy system and switch drivers when needed. Emotions. Emotions can have an effect on driving safely. You may not be able to drive safely if you are worried, excited, crying, angry, or depressed. Emotions can distract you from your driving because your mind is focused on other issues, not driving. Your emotional state can alter the way you react or overreact to driving situations. Take time to calm down and get focused before driving. Road rage. Road rage is violent or visibly angry behavior by a driver which can result in crashes or other incidents on roadways. Signs include sudden acceleration or braking, following too closely, cutting off other drivers, preventing other vehicles from merging into your lane, excessively hitting the horn or flashing headlights, shouting obscenities or threats, making obscene hand gestures, intentionally causing a crash, getting out of a vehicle in an attempt to start a confrontation, using a weapon or threatening to use a weapon, and/or throwing objects from the vehicle. If another driver is threatening you or intentionally driving dangerously around you, remain calm and try to put as much distance between you and them as possible. Slow down and let them pass. Do not make eye contact, do not make obscene gestures. If you need help, call FHP 347 or 911. Distracted driving. Distracted driving is extremely risky behavior that puts you and your passengers in danger, as well as pedestrians and bicyclists sharing the road. Focused attention on driving helps to prevent crashes. There are three main categories of driver distraction. Categories of distraction: visual, taking your eyes off the road; manual, taking your hands off the steering wheel; cognitive, thinking about anything other than driving. Texting involves all three types of distractions, making it one of the most dangerous of distracted driving behaviors. However, this is not the only cause of distracted driving. Other common distractions include talking on a cell phone, watching an object, person, or event outside of the vehicle, reaching for an object, interacting with passengers, eating or drinking, unsecured pets, grooming, adjusting radio or climate controls, lighting a cigarette, and/or daydreaming. It is illegal in Florida to operate a motor vehicle while texting. Florida law prohibits a person from operating a motor vehicle while using a wireless communications device in a handheld manner in a designated school crossing, school zone, or work zone. Florida law states that a driver must move out of the left lane when being overtaken from behind by another vehicle traveling at a higher rate of speed. Drinking and driving. Alcohol reduces all of the important skills necessary to drive safely, such as judgment, reaction, vision, and concentration. Alcohol is absorbed into the lining of the stomach and then passes directly into the bloodstream and reaches your brain within minutes after consumption. A person's judgment is the first thing affected after drinking an alcoholic beverage. Even one drink of alcohol can affect your driving. Alcohol slows your reflexes and reaction time, reduces your ability to see clearly, and makes you less alert. You will have trouble judging distance, speed, and movement of other vehicles. You will also have trouble controlling your vehicle. If you drink alcohol, even just one drink, your chances of being in a crash are much greater than if you did not drink any alcohol. No one can drink alcohol and drive safely, even if you have been driving for many years. Because drinking alcohol and driving is so dangerous, the penalties are very tough. People who drive after drinking risk heavy fines, higher insurance rates, loss of driver license, and even jail sentences. A DUI, driving under the influence, conviction must remain on your driving record for 75 years. Do not drink and drive. Before drinking, designate a sober driver. If you are the designated driver, do not drink. One drink is one too many. If you are impaired and did not designate a driver, take a taxi, call a sober family member, or use public transportation to get home safely. Remember, friends don't let friends drive drunk. If you know someone who is about to drive impaired, take their keys and help them get a safe ride home. Drugged driving. Driving while impaired by drugs is illegal and subject to the same penalties as driving while impaired by alcohol. Besides alcohol, there are many drugs that can affect a person's ability to safely operate a vehicle. This is true for many prescription drugs, as well as over-the-counter medications for allergies and colds. If a person is taking medication, they should be sure to check the label for warnings about the medication's effects prior to driving. If they are not sure it is safe to take the drug and drive, they should ask their doctor or pharmacist about any side effects. Alcohol and drugs should not be consumed at the same time. Mixing alcohol and drugs often multiplies the effects of the alcohol and any other drugs. For example, one drink, when you are also taking an allergy or cold medication, could have the same effect as several drinks. Illegal drugs and controlled substances, such as marijuana, also affect a person's reflexes, judgment, and alertness, along with their many other dangerous side effects. These drugs can give a person a false sense of alertness and self-confidence, or make a person drowsy and unable to react to simple situations. Older drivers. As we age, physical changes require us to adapt so that we can continue to drive safely. Older drivers should get regular medical and eye exams to identify physical and mental conditions that may affect driving. Ask the doctor or pharmacist how medications, especially when taken in combination with other medications, affect driving. Consult with a doctor about an exercise program to maintain the flexibility and strength needed for safe driving. Make vehicle adjustments as necessary. If it becomes difficult to turn the steering wheel, get a steering knob. If you have difficulty turning your head to check blind spots, get a larger side mirror. Avoid wearing sunglasses in dim or dark conditions, and avoid risky driving times: dusk, dawn, and nighttime. Bad weather, rush hour traffic, fast-paced highways. The Florida Grand Driver Program provides information about various steps drivers may take to maintain independence as long as possible, as well as actions one can take to stay mobile in their community when no longer driving. To learn more, search for Florida Grand Driver on the FLHSMV website, flhsmv.gov. Florida 511 Traffic Info. Always be prepared. The Florida 511 Traveler Information System is a toll-free service by the Florida Department of Transportation that provides real-time traffic information on crashes, travel times, congestion, lane closures, severe weather, and construction on Florida's interstates, toll roads, and other major metropolitan roadways. There are 4 convenient ways for motorists to receive traffic updates. Call 511, English and Spanish. Visit fl511.com. Download the free Florida 511 app. Follow any of the statewide, regional, or roadway-specific feeds on Twitter. Use these resources before driving or when pulled over in a safe place. Occupant Protection 3. Seat belts and child restraints. Seat belts save lives, but only if worn correctly every time you are in a motor vehicle. You are far more likely to be killed in a crash if you are not wearing a seat belt. In a crash, your seat belt keeps you from being ejected from the vehicle, from being thrown against other passengers, your steering wheel, or windshield, and behind the wheel, where you can control the vehicle. Wear both the lap belt and the shoulder belt. Wear your lap belt around your hips and wear your shoulder belt across your chest. Your seat belt will not work if it is tucked behind you. Airbags are not a substitute for seat belts. Florida law requires that all drivers, all front seat passengers, and all passengers under the age of 18 wear seat belts. Children under age 4 must be in a safety seat, and children ages 4 and 5 must be in either a safety seat or a booster seat. Drivers will be charged with a seatbelt/child restraint violation if any passenger under the age of 18 is not restrained with the proper seatbelt or child restraint device. Passengers 18 years old or older will be charged with the violation if they fail to wear a seatbelt when required by law. In 2019, more than 204,000 Florida teen drivers received citations, of which 5,179 were for seatbelt violations. Source: FLHSMV. Each passenger on a school bus equipped with safety belts or restraint systems shall wear a properly adjusted and fastened school safety belt at all times while the school bus is in operation. Florida law exempts the following from the seat belt requirements. A person certified by a physician as having a medical condition that causes seat belt use to be inappropriate or dangerous. Keep a copy of certification while driving/being driven. Employee of a newspaper home delivery service while delivering newspapers. School buses purchased new prior to December 31, 2000. Buses used for transportation of persons for compensation. Farm equipment. Trucks of a net weight of more than 26,000 pounds. A seat belt, without booster seat, may only be used for children 4 to 5 years of age when the driver is not a member of the child's immediate family and the child is being transported as a favor or in an emergency. It is the parent or guardian's responsibility to supply the proper child restraint when transporting a child in a vehicle for hire, e.g., taxi, bus, limousine. Some exemptions apply to cars manufactured prior to 1968 and trucks prior to 1972. Buckle up and choose the right seat. The best child seat is one that fits your child, fits your car, and that you will use correctly every time. Read the car seats instruction manual and the portion of your vehicle's owner manual on car seat installation. In passenger vehicles, children under 13 should be secured in the rear seat. Airbags can injure or kill young children in the front seat. Never place a rear-facing car seat in front of an airbag. Leaving children unsupervised in motor vehicles. Never leave a child unattended or unsupervised in a motor vehicle. It is extremely dangerous and can result in the child's injury or death. Florida law states that a parent, legal guardian, or other person responsible for a child younger than 6 years of age must not leave the child unattended or unsupervised for any period of time if the motor of the vehicle is running, the health of the child is in danger, or the child appears to be in distress. A violation of this law is a second-degree misdemeanor. A violation that causes great bodily harm, permanent disability, or permanent disfigurement to a child is considered a third-degree felony. Check for kids and pets. Traffic controls for pavement markings. Lines, symbols, and words are painted on roadways to help direct drivers and control traffic flow. You must know what the different lines, colors, and symbols mean and obey them. Unless you are turning, exiting a highway, or changing lanes, always stay between the lines marking your lane. Edge lines. Solid lines along the side of the road mark the right or left edge of the roadway. Single solid white line marks the right edge of the roadway. Single solid yellow line marks the left edge of the roadway on divided highways and one-way streets. White lane lines White lane lines, separate lanes of traffic moving in the same direction. Single broken white line. You may cross this line to change lanes when it is safe to do so. Single solid white line. You may travel in the same direction on both sides of this line, but do not cross the line unless you must do so to avoid a hazard. Also used to discourage lane changes near intersections. Double solid white lines. Crossing a double solid line / changing lanes is not allowed. Yellow lane lines. Yellow lane lines, separate lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions. Single broken yellow line. Stay to the right of the line. You may cross this line to pass a car ahead of you on the left only when it is safe to do so. Double solid yellow lines. Vehicles moving in either direction must not pass / cross these lines, unless turning left when it is safe to do so. Double yellow lines, solid on right, your side of line, broken on left. Passing is not allowed in this lane. May turn left when safe to do so. Double yellow lines, broken on right, your side of line, solid on left. Passing is permitted in this lane when safe to do so. Turn lanes. Arrows are often used with white lane lines to show which turn may be made from the lane. Lane is marked with a curved arrow and the word only, you must turn in the direction of the arrow. Lane is marked with both a curved and straight arrow, you may either turn or go straight. Two-way roadway with center lane, drivers from either direction may use the center lane for left turns, you must not use for passing. Reversible lanes. Some highways have reversible traffic lanes to help handle rush hour traffic. The direction of traffic is normally reversed at set times each day. These lanes are marked with special pavement markings, lane signals, and signs. Bicycle lanes. Some roads have pavement markings that show lanes specifically designated for the exclusive use of bicycles or for shared use. Exclusive bike lane. Solid white lines separate these bike lanes from motor vehicle travel lanes. Often marked with bike lane signs / symbols. Shared use lane. Marked with charros. These markings alert motorists that bicyclists may use the entire lane, indicate to bicyclists where to ride, and discourage bicycling in the wrong direction. White stop lines. Stop lines show where you must stop for a stop sign or red light. You must stop your vehicle before any part of it crosses the line before the crosswalk. Crosswalks. Marked with solid white lines and sometimes filled with white diagonal or perpendicular lines. Shows where pedestrians should cross. Motorists must always yield the right of way to pedestrians in a crosswalk. Other markings. Curbs are often marked yellow in no parking zones near fire hydrants or intersections. Yellow or white diagonal stripes mark fixed obstructions, medians, no parking zones, etc. It is illegal to park in or drive through areas that have pavement markings indicating fire lanes or safety zones. Traffic signs. Traffic sign colors. Red, stop. Do not enter. Wrong way. Yield. Orange, construction and maintenance warning. Yellow, general warning. Advisory of unexpected roadway conditions. Fluorescent yellow-green, high emphasis warning of school, pedestrian, and bicycling activity. White/black, regulatory. Control traffic, set limits, or give commands. Green, guide or directional information. Blue, driver guidance. It is also used to identify parking spaces for disabled drivers. Brown, areas of public recreation, cultural, and historical significance. Traffic sign shapes. Octagon, stop. Triangle, yield. Diamond, warn of existing or possible hazards. Pennant, no passing zones. Crossbuck, railroad crossing. Round, railroad advance warning. Pentagon, school advance/school crossing. Rectangle, vertical, set rules on road. Rectangle, horizontal, guide. Regulatory signs. Regulatory signs control traffic, they set limits or give commands and are enforceable by law. Stop sign. You must bring your vehicle to a complete halt at the stop line. If there is no stop line, stop before entering the crosswalk. If there is no marked crosswalk, stop before entering the intersection at a point near the intersecting roadway where you have a clear view of approaching traffic. 4-way stop. Traffic from all 4 directions must stop. Vehicles proceed through the intersection in the order that they arrived at the intersection. The first vehicle to reach the intersection should move forward first. If vehicles arrive at approximately the same time, each driver must yield to the drivers on their right. Yield. You must slow down and give vehicles crossing your path the right of way. If the way is clear, you may move forward slowly without stopping. Do not enter on one-way streets and roadways that you are not allowed to enter. You may see this sign if you enter an expressway ramp in the wrong direction. Turn around. Wrong way. You are going the wrong way. Do not drive past this sign. Turn around immediately. No passing. You are entering a no passing zone. Pass with care. You are allowed to pass, but do so with caution. No symbol. Red circle with red slash. The sign shows what you are not allowed to do. No U-turn. You must not make a complete turn to go in the opposite direction where this sign is displayed. No right turn. You must not make a right turn at this intersection. Speed limit. Your speed must not exceed the posted speed in this area. Speeding fines doubled. Posted in active school and work zones. Fines will be doubled if you are cited for speeding in this area. Must turn. You cannot go straight ahead. You must turn either to the right or left. One way. You must travel only in the direction of the arrow. Keep right. Stay to the right of the divider. No turn on red. You must not turn right or left during the red light. You must wait for the green signal. Left lane must turn. Traffic in the left lane must turn left at the intersection ahead, also right lane must turn. Turn lanes. At the intersection ahead, traffic in the left lane must turn left and traffic in the adjoining lane may turn left or continue straight ahead. No turns. You must not turn either to the right or to the left at this intersection. Center turn lane. The center lane is shared for left turns in both directions of travel. Begin right turn. When entering a right turn lane you may encounter bicyclists traveling straight, you must yield to the bicyclists. Exit speed. This sign lists the maximum safe speed for an exit ramp on an expressway. Slow down to the posted speed. Slower traffic keep right. Slower driving traffic must stay in the right lane unless passing. Slower traffic must move out of the left lane when being overtaken by a faster vehicle. Restricted lane ahead. A diamond-shaped marking shows that a lane is reserved for certain purposes or certain vehicles, such as buses or carpool vehicles during rush hour traffic. Also used in bike lanes. Emergency stopping only. You must only stop for emergencies. No parking on pavement. If you stop, you must always park off the pavement of the roadway. Parking by disabled permit only. Parking in this space is only for vehicles displaying an official disabled parking permit and transporting a person with a disability. Move over. When approaching stopped emergency or service vehicles with flashing lights, you must move over a lane. If you can't move over, reduce speed to 20 miles per hour below the posted limit. Warning signs. Reduction of lanes. There will be fewer lanes ahead. The right lane ends and traffic must merge left. Drivers in the left lane should allow others to merge smoothly. Divided highway ahead. The highway ahead is divided by a median or physical barrier. Keep to the right. Divided highway ends. The divided highway on which you are traveling ends 350 to 500 feet ahead. You will then be on a roadway with two-way traffic. Keep to the right. Merging traffic. You are coming to a point where another traffic lane joins the one you are on. Watch for other traffic and be ready to yield the right of way when necessary. Pavement ends. The paved surface ahead changes to a gravel or earth road. Low clearance. Do not enter if your vehicle is taller than the height listed on the sign. Slippery surface. In wet weather, drive slowly. Do not speed up or brake quickly. Make turns at a very slow speed. Dip. There is a low place in the road. Go slowly and be ready to stop and turn around if the dip is filled with water. Bicycle crossing. A bikeway crosses the roadway ahead. Watch for bicyclists. Pedestrian crossing. Watch for people crossing the street. Slow down or stop to yield for pedestrians. Animal crossing. The animal pictured on the sign is common in this area. Watch for animals crossing the road, particularly during twilight and nighttime hours. Truck crossing. Watch for trucks entering or crossing the roadway. Narrow bridge. The bridge is wide enough to accommodate 2 lanes of traffic, but with very little clearance. Stay in your lane. 1-lane bridge. The bridge is wide enough for only 1 vehicle at a time. Make sure the bridge is clear of oncoming traffic before you cross. Soft shoulder. The ground on the side of the road is soft. Don't leave the pavement except in an emergency. Right curve. The road will curve to the right. Slow your speed and do not pass other vehicles. Double curve. The road will curve to the right, then to the left. Slow your speed and do not pass other vehicles. Winding road. There are several curves ahead. Drive slowly and carefully and do not pass other vehicles. Cross road. A road crosses the main highway ahead. Look to the left and right for other traffic. Side road. Another road enters the highway from the direction shown. Watch for traffic from that direction. Sharp right turn. The road will make a sharp turn to the right. Slow your speed and do not pass other vehicles. Hill/downgrade. The road goes downhill ahead. Slow down and be ready to shift to lower gear to control speed. Advisory speed sign. The highest safe speed you should travel around the curve ahead is the one posted. Advisory speed signs may be used with any warning sign. Speed reduction sign. Advance notice to upcoming speed limit change. Yield ahead. Yield sign ahead. Slow down and be prepared to stop at a yield sign or adjust speed to traffic. Traffic signal ahead. A traffic signal is at the intersection ahead. Slow down, poor visibility is likely. Stop sign ahead. Slow down and be ready to stop at the stop sign. Two-way traffic ahead. The one-way street or roadway is about to change to two-way traffic. There will be oncoming traffic. Roundabout circle. Provides advance notice of a roundabout. Prepare to slow down and possibly yield to traffic in the roundabout. Informational signs. Green guide signs give information about directions and distances. East-west routes have even numbers and north-south have odd numbers. In Florida, mile markers indicate your location on an interstate and match with exit numbers. Blue and white service signs direct you to services, such as gas, food, motels, and hospitals. Brown and white signs point out scenic areas, parks, and areas of cultural/historical significance. The Florida Department of Transportation's 511 Traffic Information Service provides real-time traffic updates. Traffic signals. Traffic signals are placed at intersections to keep traffic moving and to help prevent crashes. Drivers, pedestrians, and bicycle riders must obey these signals except when an officer is directing traffic. If a traffic signal is out of order and law enforcement is not present, treat the light/intersection as a four-way stop sign, p. 16. Steady signal lights. Red light. Come to a complete stop at the stop line. Remain stopped until the light turns green. Don't stop too far away from the stop line. Some signals change only when their sensors detect vehicles at the stop line. After stopping, you may turn right if there is not a no turn on red sign and the way is clear. You may turn left from a one-way street onto a one-way street that has traffic moving to the left. Before turning, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians in the crosswalk and oncoming traffic. Running, driving through, the red light is against the law and is extremely dangerous. Yellow light. Warning: the light is changing to red. Stop if you can safely do so. It is extremely dangerous to be in an intersection when the light turns red. Green light. Go, but only if the intersection is clear. Yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk and vehicles still in the intersection. Approach at a speed that will allow you to slow down if the light changes. When turning left, you must yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. Red arrow. Do not make the movement shown by the arrow until the green light appears. After stopping, you may turn right if there is not a no turn on red sign and the way is clear. You may turn left from a one-way street onto a one-way street that has traffic moving to the left. You must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians in the crosswalk and oncoming traffic. Yellow arrow, steady. The green arrow is ending or the light is about to turn red. Stop if you can safely do so. Yellow arrow, flashing. Turns are allowed in the direction of the arrow. The oncoming traffic has a green light. Yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. Green arrow. You may make a turn in the direction of the arrow. If the red light is illuminated at the same time, you must be in the proper lane for such a turn. You must yield the right-of-way to vehicles and pedestrians in the intersection. Flashing signal lights. Flashing red light. Used at dangerous intersections. Treat it like a stop sign, stop and proceed when safe. Flashing yellow light. Used at, or just before, dangerous intersections. Also used to alert you to a warning sign such as a school crossing or sharp curve. Proceed with caution. Lane signals. Lane signals are used when the direction of the flow of traffic changes during the day. To show that a toll booth is open or closed, or to show which lanes are opened or closed. Red X. Never drive in a lane under the red X. Yellow X. The lane signal is about to turn red. Green arrow. You may use this lane and you must also obey all other signs and signals. Ramp signals. Ramp signals. Control the rate of vehicles entering an expressway, and alternate between red and green. You must wait for the green signal before entering the expressway. Pedestrian signals. Pedestrian signals show words or pictures to indicate when it is safe or not to use the crosswalk. Walk or walking person. You may begin to cross the street. Don't walk or raised hand. Never enter the crosswalk or begin crossing the street when the raised hand is flashing or solid. If you are already in the crosswalk when this signal begins flashing, quickly finish crossing the street. Countdown signal. The countdown starts at the beginning of the don't start, flashing hand phase, and ends with a 0 and a don't walk, solid hand, phase. Once the countdown starts and the hand is flashing, it is no longer safe to enter the crosswalk. Rectangular rapid flashing beacon. Push the button to activate the signal. Once the lights begin to flash and the approaching traffic stops, use the crosswalk. Motorists must stop and yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk. High intensity activated crosswalk, HOC. When approaching a pedestrian signal with no light, if the intersection is clear, go. If there is a yellow flashing light, slow down, because this light indicates that a pedestrian has activated the push button. Approach at a speed that will allow you to stop if the light changes. If there is a yellow steady light, prepare to stop. If there is a red steady light, stop for pedestrian in crosswalk. If there is a red flashing light, proceed with caution. If no pedestrian is present and the intersection is clear, go. Zones of caution. School zone signs and signals. School sign. You are near a school. Watch for children at all times, not just during school hours. School crossing. Slow down and watch for children crossing the road. Stop if necessary. Obey signals from any crossing guards. Begin school zone. Do not exceed the school zone speed limit during indicated times or when light is flashing. End school zone. Marks the end of a reduced speed school zone. Railroad crossing signs and signals. There are several signs, signals, and pavement markings that indicate highway railroad crossings. When you see any of these, slow down and be ready to stop. Do not stop on the railroad tracks or within 15 feet of the crossing. Any driver, bicyclist, or pedestrian approaching a railroad highway crossing must stop within 50 feet, but not less than 15 feet, from the nearest rail of the railroad when the warning devices are flashing. The crossing gate is lowered. A human flagger is warning of an approaching train, or an approaching train is clearly visible. Pavement marking. Markings may be painted on the paved approach to a crossing before the stop line. Advance warning sign. This is usually the first sign you see when approaching a highway railroad crossing. Crossbuck sign. These are yield signs, you must yield the right of way to trains. A sign below the crossbuck will show the number of tracks if there is more than one track. Flashing red light signals. At many crossings, the crossbuck sign has flashing red lights and bells. When the lights begin to flash, stop immediately. A train is approaching. Gates. Many crossings have gates with flashing red lights and bells. Stop when the lights begin to flash and before the gate lowers across your road lane. It is against the law to drive around or under a crossing gate either down or while being opened or closed, and it is extremely dangerous. Remember. Slow down when approaching railroad crossings. Be prepared to stop, especially when following buses or trucks. Many are required to stop at railroad crossings even when gates are up / lights are not flashing. If there is more than one track, make sure all tracks are clear before crossing. In heavy traffic, make sure there is room for your vehicle on the other side of the track before crossing. Trains often appear to be traveling at a slower speed than they actually are, and they cannot stop quickly. Don't try to beat the train always wins. Drawbridge signs and signals. Drawbridges are mechanical bridges over navigable waters that raise or turn to allow marine traffic to go under them. Flashing yellow signal. When the yellow light is flashing, the drawbridge is in operation. Slow down and prepare to stop. Drawbridge signal. Red. Come to a complete stop at the marked stop line. The bridge is in operation and the roadway is closed to all pedestrian and motor vehicle traffic. Yellow. The light is about to turn red. Stop if you can safely do so. The bridge is about to start operation. Green. Proceed with caution. Gates. Many drawbridges have gates with flashing red lights and bells. Stop when the lights begin to flash and before the gate lowers across your road lane. It is against the law to drive around or under a crossing gate either down or while being opened or closed, and it is extremely dangerous. Construction/maintenance signs and signals. Various traffic control devices are used in road construction and maintenance work areas to direct drivers and pedestrians safely through the work site. Be prepared to reduce your speed and use caution when directed to do so by a sign, flagger, or law enforcement officer. Failure to do so is illegal and is dangerous to those working in the construction zone. Signs will indicate where speeding fines will be doubled when workers are present. Construction and maintenance signs. The signs, usually diamond-shaped and / or orange in color, notify drivers of unusual or potentially dangerous conditions near work areas. Channeling devices include barricades, vertical panels, drums and cones. Stripes on barricades and panel devices slope downward in the direction traffic must travel. These devices alert drivers of unusual or potentially dangerous conditions in roadway and work zones. These devices may be equipped with warning lights at night time to guide drivers safely. Flashing arrow panels. Used both during the day and at night to give advance warning and directional information when it is necessary to move to another lane. Flaggers. People who work in roadway construction/maintenance zones to stop, slow, or guide traffic safely through the area. Flaggers wear bright-colored/fluorescent vests or jackets and use red flags or signs to direct traffic through work zones. Driving safely. 5. Speed limits. Obeying speed limits improves safety by reducing the probability and severity of crashes. Speed limit signs tell you the maximum safe speed when both weather conditions and visibility are favorable. Speeding is extremely dangerous. The faster you drive, the greater the impact or striking power of your vehicle. When you double the speed of a car, you increase its force of impact 4 times. When you triple the speed of a car, you increase its force of impact 9 times. Speeding is against the law. You must obey the speed limit and you are responsible for knowing the speed limit when you are driving. The speeding buffer is a myth. You are not allowed to drive up to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. Observe and obey posted speed limit signs. Speeding is the #1 citation written for teens. Source: FLHSMV. Florida Standard Speed Limits. School zones, 20 miles per hour. Municipal, business, or residential area, 30 miles per hour *. Streets and highways, 55 miles per hour *. Limited access highways, see definition page 34, 70 miles per hour. Maximum speed except where otherwise posted. Speed limits show the fastest speed you may drive under favorable conditions. You are responsible for adjusting your driving speed to the weather, roadway, and traffic conditions. For example, during a storm, you should drive slower than the posted speed limit. The safest speed is the one that allows you to have complete control of your vehicle and avoid collisions. However, driving too slowly is also against Florida law. You must not drive so slowly that you block or delay traffic moving at normal, safe speeds. You should drive with the flow of traffic, within the speed limit. When driving slower than the flow of traffic, keep right so others may safely pass. On highways, when the posted speed limit is 70 miles per hour, the minimum speed limit is 50 miles per hour. Braking distance. Perception distance. How far your vehicle travels in favorable weather conditions from the time your eyes see a hazard until your brain recognizes it. Perception distance can be affected by mental and physical conditions, medication, as well as visibility and the hazard itself. The average perception time for an alert driver is 3/4 second to 1 second. Reaction distance. How far you will continue to travel after seeing the hazard until you physically hit the brakes. The average driver has a reaction time of 3/4 second to 1 second. At 50 miles per hour, this accounts for 55 feet traveled. Braking distance. How far your vehicle will travel in favorable weather conditions while you are braking. At 50 miles per hour, on dry pavement and with good brakes, it can take about 158 feet. High speeds greatly increase stopping distances and severity of crashes. The faster you drive, the greater the impact or striking power of your vehicle. Doubling the speed means the braking distance and impact are 4 times greater. Tripling the speed means the braking distance and impact are 9 times greater. Stopping distance is equal to a football field. Quadrupling the speed means the braking distance and impact are 16 times greater. Total stopping distance. The total minimum distance your vehicle will travel including perception distance, reaction distance, and braking distance until you can bring your vehicle to a complete stop. At 50 miles per hour, you will travel a minimum of 268 feet, nearly the length of a football field. Smooth stops. Stopping suddenly is dangerous and is usually caused by not paying attention to the traffic flow or following others too closely. Sudden stops make it difficult for drivers behind you to avoid a rear-end collision. To ensure you are stopping smoothly, check all mirrors and blind spots for traffic to the rear. Release the accelerator to allow the vehicle to slow. Press the brake pedal to activate brake lights and use a steady pressure. Making turns. You must use vehicle directional signals or hand signals to show other drivers that you are turning. Turn signals are also required by law when changing lanes or overtaking a vehicle. You must give a turn signal for at least 100 feet before you make your turn. It is against the law to use your directional signals to tell drivers behind you that they can pass. Hand signals must be given from the left side of the vehicle. Turning a corner may seem to be a simple operation, but many traffic crashes are caused by drivers who do not turn correctly. 1. Slow down to a safe turning speed. 2. Move into the correct lane as you near the intersection. The correct lane for a right turn is the rightmost lane. 3. You must activate your turn signal at least 100 feet before making your turn. Allow time for drivers around you to see your signal before you move. 4. Obey any no turn on red or stop here signs. 5. Yield to bicyclists when crossing a bike lane and to pedestrians who may be crossing your path. 6. Stay in the proper lane during your turn. Yield the right of way to vehicles and bicycles coming from the opposite direction. 7. Finish your turn in the proper lane. Turn right into the right lane of the roadway entered. A left turn may be completed in any lane lawfully available or safe for the desired direction of travel. Never make last-minute turns. If you reach an intersection where you wish to turn and are not in the proper lane, drive to the next intersection and then make the turn from the proper lane. Asterisk note: bicyclists may extend right hand and arm horizontally from right side of bicycle for right turn. 3-point turn. Sometimes you will need to turn around in a very small space. Use a 3-point turn only if the road is too narrow for a U-turn and you can't go around the block. To make a 3-point turn: 1. Move as far right as possible, check traffic, and signal a left turn. Turn the steering wheel sharply to the left and move forward slowly. Stop at the curb. 2. Shift to reverse, turn your wheels sharply to the right, check traffic, and back your vehicle to the right curb. 3. Shift the vehicle into drive and pull forward carefully. Never make a 3-point turn or a U-turn on a curve, a hill, the highway, or where there is a sign that prohibits U-turns. Intersections. Many intersections are marked with stop lines to show where you must come to a complete stop. Always stop behind stop lines. After a complete stop, you must yield the right of way to all other traffic already in the intersection and to pedestrians. Move forward only when the road is clear. Vehicles proceed through the intersection in the order that they arrived at the intersection. The first vehicle to reach the intersection should move forward first. If vehicles arrive at approximately the same time, each driver must yield to the drivers on their right. At a two-way stop, the turning vehicle yields to the vehicle going straight. Right-of-way rules tell you who goes first and who must wait in different conditions. The law says who must yield, give up, the right-of-way. Every driver, motorcyclist, moped rider, bicyclist, and pedestrian must do everything possible to avoid a crash. Open intersections. An open intersection is one without traffic control signs or signals. When you enter an open intersection, you must yield the right of way if a vehicle is already in the intersection. You enter or cross a state highway from a secondary road. You enter a paved road from an unpaved road, or you plan to make a left turn and a vehicle is approaching from the opposite direction. Roundabouts. A roundabout is a circular intersection with no traffic signal. Roundabouts travel in a one-way counterclockwise direction. Drivers entering the roundabout must yield to traffic already in the roundabout. If there is no traffic in the roundabout, you may enter without yielding. Do not change lanes in the roundabout. Do not stop in a roundabout. Signal before exiting the roundabout. Multi-lane roundabouts have the same rules as single-lane roundabouts, however you will need to choose the proper lane prior to entering the roundabout. To go straight or right, use the right lane. To go straight or left, and to make a U-turn, use the left lane. Prior to entering or exiting the roundabout, drivers must yield to pedestrians in the crosswalks. Bicyclists may take the lane in the roundabout or use the sidewalk. Driveways. Drivers entering a road from a driveway, alley, or roadside must yield to vehicles already on the main road, as well as to pedestrians and bicyclists on the sidewalk or in bike lanes. Traffic lanes. On a two-lane highway you must always drive in the right lane unless you are overtaking and passing, where permitted. If the road has 4 or more lanes with two-way traffic, drive in the right lanes except when overtaking and passing. The center lane of a 3-lane or 5-lane highway is used only for turning left. HOV lanes. Some highways reserve the left lane for vehicles with 2 or more occupants or hybrid/low-emission vehicles, LEV. LEVs require a decal and completion of FLHSMV Form 83027. These high-occupancy vehicle, HOV, lanes are identified by signs/diamond pavement symbols, and are separated by a striped buffer zone. Vehicles may enter and exit the HOV lane only at designated points. Bike lanes. Motorized vehicles are not allowed to drive in bike lanes, they may cross over them when turning at intersections, but only when no bicyclists are present in the bike lane. Red reflectors. Red reflectors on lane lines always mean you are facing traffic the wrong way and could have a head-on collision. If you see red reflectors facing you on the lane lines, you are on the wrong side of the road. Turn around or get into the proper lane immediately. If you see red reflectors on the edge lines of the road, you are going the wrong way on an entrance or exit ramp. Pull over immediately. Turn around when it is safe to do so. Safe following distances. Rear-end collisions are almost always caused by drivers following too closely. Maintaining a large enough following distance, the space between you and the vehicle in front of you, greatly helps avoid a collision with the vehicle in front of you. The more distance between your vehicle and others, the more time you have to react. Keep a minimum following distance of 4 seconds during favorable weather and traffic conditions. Increase following distance during unfavorable weather or traffic conditions. To determine your following distance. 1. Watch when the rear of the vehicle ahead passes a stationary marker such as a sign or light pole. 2. Count the seconds it takes you to reach the same marker, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. 3. If you pass the stationary marker before counting to 1004, you are following too closely. 4. Reduce speed and then count again at another stationary point. Repeat until you are following no closer than 4 seconds. Increase your following distance in these situations. Rain or when roads are wet. Low visibility, dusk, dawn, nighttime, fog, etc. When being passed, more space in front of your vehicle so the pass can be completed safely. Carrying a heavy load or pulling a trailer. The extra weight makes it more difficult to stop quickly/steer correctly. When stopped behind another vehicle on an incline, it may roll back before moving forward. When following motorcycles. The chances of a motorcyclist falling are greater on wet or gravel roads, or metal surfaces such as bridges. You will need extra stopping/steering distance to avoid hitting the motorcycle/rider. Emergency vehicles. It is against the law to follow a fire truck responding to an emergency closer than 500 feet. Vehicles required to come to a stop at railroad crossings, such as city buses, school buses, and vehicles carrying hazardous materials. Vehicles with a blocked rear view. Drivers of trucks, buses, vans, or vehicles pulling trailers may not be able to see your vehicle when you are directly behind them. If your vehicle is being followed too closely, slow down and keep to the right. Following distance for trucks. A truck or any vehicle towing another vehicle must not follow within 300 feet of another truck or another vehicle in tow. This law does not apply to overtaking and passing, and it does not apply within cities or towns. Blind spots. Blind spots are areas near the left and right rear corners of your vehicle that you can't see in your rear view mirrors or with your peripheral vision. Before you move to change lanes on a highway, pass on any road, or make certain turns, turn your head to make sure these areas are clear. Do not drive in someone else's blind spot. Move forward or drop back so that the other driver can see you. The larger the vehicle, the larger the blind spots. Large trucks and SUVs have blind spots close to the rear of the vehicle that cannot be seen in rear-view mirrors. See no zones on page 44. Passing. 1. You must activate your signal before moving into the left lane to let others know that you are about to change lanes to pass. 2. Stay a safe distance behind the vehicle you want to pass. The closer you get, the less you can see ahead. 3. Before you pull out to pass, check blind spots and make sure that you have plenty of time and room to pass. 4. Tap your horn, day, or flash your headlights, night, to let the other driver know you are passing. 5. Do not return to the right side of the road until you can see the tires of the vehicle you passed in your rear-view mirror. Signal when you are about to return to your lane. 6. You must return to the right side of the road before coming within 200 feet of any approaching vehicle. Do not attempt to pass more than one vehicle at a time. Passing multiple vehicles is dangerous. Stay within the speed limit. It's illegal to exceed the speed limit while passing. Passing on the right. Passing on the right is only legal when there are 2 or more lanes of traffic moving in the same direction or the vehicle you are passing is making a left turn. You must not pass where there is a single solid line, or double-sided solid line dividing lanes. When the double-sided yellow line is solid in your lane. In do not pass and no passing zones. On hills or curves where you can't see at least 500 feet ahead. Within 100 feet of a bridge, viaduct, tunnel, railroad crossing, or intersection. When a school bus is stopped and has its warning flashers on and stop sign extended, and at crosswalks where a vehicle has stopped to allow a pedestrian to cross. Being passed. You must not increase your speed while you are being passed. Move to the right side of your lane to give passing drivers more room and a better view of the road ahead. Limited access highways. Limited access highways, also called expressways, interstate highways, turnpikes, toll roads, and freeways, are multiple lane roads with no stop signs, traffic lights, or railroad crossings. Pedestrians, hitchhikers, bicycles, animal-drawn vehicles, and motor-driven cycles/motor scooters, with 150 cubic centimeter displacement or less, are not allowed on limited access highways. Entering and leaving limited access highways. All limited access highway entrances have 3 basic parts: an entrance ramp, an acceleration lane, and a merging area. When entering a limited access highway. 1. On the entrance ramp, begin checking for an opening in traffic. Signal your intent to merge onto the highway. 2. Increase your speed as the ramp straightens into the acceleration lane. Adjust your speed so that you can safely merge into the traffic when you reach the end of the acceleration lane. 3. Merge into traffic when you can do so safely. You must yield the right of way to traffic on the highway. Do not stop in the acceleration lane unless traffic is too heavy and there is no space for you to enter safely. When leaving a limited access highway. 1. Get into the exit lane. Most exits are from the right lane. 2. Activate your turn signal to show your intention to exit. 3. Slow down in the deceleration lane. Check the posted safe speed for the exit ramp. 4. Don't make last-minute turns into an exit. If you pass your exit, you must go to the next one. Stay a safe distance behind the vehicle you want to pass. The closer you get, the less you can see. Enter limited access highway. Begin signal here. Adjust to speed in acceleration lane. Do not enter here. Exit limited access highway. Begin signal here. Slow down here, check safe speed. Do not exit here. Limited access highway safety reminders. Plan ahead. Know your exits. In Florida, they match the mile markers on the highway. Drive in the right lane and pass on the left. While in the right lane, watch for cars entering the highway. Adjust your speed or move over so they can enter safely. Never drive across or park on the median. Never stop on the pavement, shoulder, or connecting ramp except in an emergency. If your vehicle breaks down, you must move it completely off the pavement. No more than 6 hours. Don't follow too closely. Rear-end collisions are the greatest danger on limited access highways. Never back up on an entrance ramp or exit ramp. The only exception to this is if you see a wrong way or do not enter sign or red reflectors on lane lines. You must back up or turn around. Stop driving when you feel tired. Do not risk falling asleep at the wheel. Obey the move over law, page 44. Parking. When parking on a public road, move as far away from traffic as possible. You must not park more than 12 inches away from the curb. If there is a roadside shoulder, pull as far onto it as you can. Always park on the right side of the roadway unless it is a one-way street. Park parallel to the curb in the direction of traffic movement, with right-hand wheels parallel to and within 12 inches of the right-hand curb or side of roadway. Set the parking brake and shift to park, automatic transmission, or reverse, manual transmission. Turn off the engine and lock the vehicle. Florida law requires that you take the keys out of your vehicle before leaving it. Always check traffic around you before getting out of the vehicle so you do not open your door into a bicyclist or another vehicle. Before you drive from any parked position, make sure the roadway is clear. Give the proper turn signal and yield to other traffic before pulling away from the curb. Parking on hills. 1. Turn your wheels so that if your car starts to move, it will roll away from traffic or into the curb. 2. Set the parking brake. 3. Automatic transmission, put gear shift in park. Manual transmission, shift to reverse, downhill, or first, uphill. 4. Turn vehicle off. Downhill. Turn wheels to curb. Uphill with curb. Turn wheels from curb. Uphill no curb. Turn wheels to right. It is against the law to park on crosswalks, on sidewalks, in bicycle lanes, in intersections, on bridges, on overpasses, in tunnels, in front of driveways, by yellow painted curbs, in no parking or disabled permit only zones, on the roadway side of another parked vehicle, double parking. On highway pavement not marked for parking. Anywhere that blocks or creates a hazard for other vehicles. Or within 15 feet of a fire hydrant. 20 feet of an intersection. 20 feet of the entrance to a fire, ambulance, or rescue station. 30 feet of a rural mailbox on a state highway, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. 30 feet of any flashing signal, stop sign, or traffic signal. 50 feet of a railroad crossing. Parking lights. It is against the law to drive using only parking lights in place of headlights. Straight-in parking. When properly parked, the vehicle should be centered inside the space with no part of the vehicle extending out into the traffic lane. Backing up. 1. Check behind your vehicle before you get in. Children and small objects cannot be seen from the driver's seat. 2. Place your right arm on the back of the passenger seat and turn around so that you can look directly through the rear window. Do not depend on your rear view or side mirrors as you cannot see directly behind your vehicle. Don't completely rely on cameras/alarms, they don't always detect small children and animals. 3. Back slowly, your vehicle is much harder to steer while you are backing. 4. Whenever possible, use a person outside the vehicle to help you back up. Take a second look before backing up. Bicycles are hard to see. Share the road. Put it down. Focus on driving. Sharing the road. 6. Sharing the road with pedestrians. It is the motorist's responsibility to do everything possible to avoid colliding with a pedestrian, person walking. When in a crosswalk or driveway, bicyclists, skaters, and skateboarders are considered pedestrians. Rules for motorists. 1. You must stop and remain stopped for pedestrians crossing a street or driveway at any marked crossing, driveway, or intersection. 2. When entering or leaving an alley, driveway, or private road, you must stop for pedestrians on the sidewalk. 3. Never block the crosswalk when stopped at a red light. Do not stop with any portion of your vehicle overhanging the crosswalk. 4. Florida law prohibits you from overtaking and passing a vehicle that is stopped at a crosswalk so that a pedestrian can cross the roadway. A driver approaching a vehicle from the rear that is stopped at a crosswalk must assume that a pedestrian may be crossing, even when none can be seen at that moment. 5. Always stop before turning right on red and look both ways for pedestrians in the crosswalk. 6. Come to a complete stop, yield the right of way, and use extra caution when approaching. A visually impaired pedestrian who is carrying a white cane with a red tip or guided by a service animal. Mobility impaired persons, using a walker, a crutch, or an orthopedic cane or wheelchair, and pedestrians using a guide dog or service animal, or children or any confused or incapacitated pedestrian. Rules for pedestrians. 1. Pedestrians must not walk on the roadway if a sidewalk is available. 2. When walking along a roadway without a sidewalk, always walk on the shoulder on the left side, facing traffic. 3. Cross the road at intersections or designated crosswalks. Crosswalks at intersections may be marked or unmarked. 4. Pedestrians must yield the right of way to vehicles if crossing a roadway at any point other than within a crosswalk. 5. Pedestrians must yield the right of way to vehicles in the crosswalk if the crosswalk signal is red or displays "Don't walk." Pedestrian safety tips. Never enter the street from between parked cars. Always use a crosswalk. Stop at the curb or the edge of the road if there is no curb. Look left, then right, then left again for moving vehicles before you step into the street. Be seen. Wear bright, neon, reflective colors. Carry a flashlight at night. Don't text while walking. Avoid wearing headphones so that you can hear the traffic around you. Sharing the road with bicycles. In Florida, the bicycle is legally defined as a vehicle and has all of the privileges, rights, and responsibilities on public roads, except for limited access highways, that a motor vehicle operator does. Bicyclists may ride out of the bike lane into the travel lane for their own safety due to narrow roads, to avoid obstacles or pavement hazards, or to prepare for a left turn. A bicyclist may use the full lane even while traveling substantially below the speed of traffic if the lane is too narrow for both a car and bicycle to share. Unlike motorists, bicyclists may also operate on sidewalks, but they must yield to pedestrians on sidewalks and in crosswalks. Rules for motorists. 1. Florida law requires that you give bicyclists a minimum of 3 feet of clearance and use caution/slow speed when driving alongside or passing them. 2. On a 2-lane road, pass a bicyclist as you would a slow-moving vehicle, and only when it is safe to do so. 3. At intersections, always assume that bicyclists are traveling straight unless they signal otherwise. Yield to bicycles just as you would to any other vehicle. 4. When crossing a bike lane to make a turn, yield to any bicyclist in the bike lane and make your turn behind the bicyclist. 5. Do not follow a bicyclist too closely. 6. At night, avoid using high-beam headlights when you see a bicyclist approaching. 7. Before opening a car door, check for bicyclists who may be approaching from behind. 8. Avoid honking your horn and startling a bicyclist. Right-of-way rules tell you who goes first and who must wait in different conditions. The law says who must yield, give up, the right-of-way. Every driver, motorcyclist, moped rider, bicyclist, and pedestrian must do everything possible to avoid a crash. Rules for bicyclists. 1. Bicyclists must obey all traffic controls and signals. 2. If bicyclists are not traveling at the speed of other traffic, they must use the bike lane, and if no bike lane is available, they must stay on the rightmost side of the road. 3. Bicyclists are allowed to use the full lane when making a left turn, passing, avoiding hazards, or when a lane is too narrow for them and a car to share it safely. 4. When operating a bicycle on a one-way street with 2 or more traffic lanes, bicyclists may ride on the left-hand side of the road. 5. Bicyclists must use directional hand signals to show other drivers that they are about to turn. See page 29. 6. Bicyclists must never attach themselves or their bike to any vehicle on the roadway. 7. If they are riding on a sidewalk or crosswalk, bicyclists have all the rights and duties of a pedestrian. However, they must yield the right of way to pedestrians and must give an audible signal before passing pedestrians. 8. Between sunset and sunrise, bicyclists must have a white light visible from 500 feet on the front of their bicycle and a red reflector and a red light visible from 600 feet on the rear. 9. Bicyclists must have brakes which can stop their bike within 25 feet from a speed of 10 miles per hour. 10. All bicyclists and passengers under age 16 are required to wear helmets that meet federal safety standards. 11. If bicyclists are transporting a child under age 4, or who weighs 40 pounds or less, they must use a backpack/sling, child seat, or trailer designed to carry children. 12. Bicyclists must not leave a child in a seat or carrier when they are not in immediate control of the bicycle. 13. If bicyclists are riding with others, they may not ride more than 2 side by side unless it is a path or part of a roadway reserved for bicycles. They must ride single file if they and the other rider are impeding traffic. 14. Bicyclists must not wear headphones/earbuds while bicycling on the roadway. 15. Bicyclists must not ride a bicycle when under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Bicyclist safety tips. No matter your age, wear a helmet. Keep both hands on the handlebars. On the roadway, check behind you before changing lanes or moving notably within the lane. Be seen. Wear neon or fluorescent colors when riding and wear something reflective. Don't text while biking. Motorcycle awareness. Motorcycle and moped drivers have the same rights and duties as drivers of motor vehicles. Riders committing traffic violations may receive citations. Laws for motorcycle/moped. You must be 16 years of age or older to operate a motorcycle or moped on a public road. If under 18, you must hold a learner's license for 12 months with no moving violation convictions prior to the issuance of a motorcycle-only license. Operators of motorcycles must complete an approved motorcycle safety course and get a motorcycle endorsement on their driver license or a motorcycle-only license. Operators of mopeds must have the minimum of a Class E driver license. No motorcycle endorsement is required. Operators of motorcycles must wear a helmet unless they are over the age of 21 and carry a medical insurance policy providing for at least $10,000 in medical benefits for injuries. Motorcycles and mopeds must be registered annually and have the proper tag, and must not be operated on bicycle paths or footpaths. Operators of motorcycles and mopeds do not have to carry personal injury protection, PIP, insurance. Tips for motorists. You must never attempt to share the lane with a motorcycle. The motorcyclist is entitled to the entire lane. Watch for motorcycles and look carefully before pulling into an intersection or changing lanes. It is difficult to gauge the speed of a motorcycle because they take up less field of vision which interferes with depth perception. They may appear to be much farther away than they really are. Do not follow too closely behind a motorcycle. Remember that motorcycles have the ability to stop more quickly than other vehicles. Motorcyclists often slow down by downshifting or rolling of the throttle, thus not activating the brake light. Never pass a motorcyclist with only a few feet of space. The force of the wind gust can cause the rider to lose control. When your vehicle is being passed by a motorcycle, maintain your lane position. Do not increase your speed. Maintain more than a 4-second buffer zone between you and a motorcyclist, and increase space when encountering these conditions, inclement weather, gusty winds, wet or icy roads, bad road conditions such as potholes, gravel roads, and railroad crossings. School buses. It is against the law for any driver to pass a school bus when the school bus displays a stop signal. On a two-way street or highway, all drivers moving in either direction must stop for a stopped school bus that is picking up or dropping off children. You must remain stopped until the stop signal is withdrawn and all children are clear of the roadway. If the highway is divided by a raised barrier or an unpaved median at least 5 feet wide, you do not have to stop if you are moving in the opposite direction of the bus. Painted lines or pavement markings are not considered barriers. You must always stop if you are moving in the same direction as the bus, and you must remain stopped until the stop signal is withdrawn. 2-lane, vehicles traveling in both directions must stop. Multi-lane paved across, vehicles traveling in both directions must stop. Divided highway, unpaved space 5 feet plus / raised median / physical barrier, vehicles behind bus must stop. Vehicles traveling in the opposite direction must proceed with caution. School crossings. School area signs advise drivers of school zones and school crossings. School zones and school crossings provide students with a safe zone when they cross the road to and from school. Crossing guards are the first to enter and last to exit a crosswalk to indicate that pedestrians, especially children, are about to cross or are crossing. When children or school crossing guards are present in a crosswalk, you must yield and stop at the stop line and not in the crosswalk. Emergency vehicles. Motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians must yield the right of way to law enforcement vehicles, fire engines, and other emergency vehicles using sirens or flashing lights. Pull over to the closest edge of the roadway immediately and stop until the emergency vehicle has passed. Do not block intersections. Florida's Move Over Law. The Move Over Law protects law enforcement officers, emergency workers, tow truck drivers, sanitation workers, and utility workers stopped along roadways while performing their jobs. Move Over Law. On a multi-lane roadway, you must vacate the lane closest to the stationary law enforcement, emergency vehicle, tow truck, sanitation, or utility vehicle. Signal your intention to change lanes. If you cannot move over safely, you must slow down to a speed of 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. Drivers who are not in the lane closest to the stationary vehicle should be prepared to allow those who are about to move over into their lane. On a 2-lane roadway, you must slow down to a speed of 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. If the speed limit is 20 miles per hour or less, you must travel at 5 miles per hour. Funeral processions. Motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians must yield the right of way to funeral processions. When the funeral lead vehicle enters an intersection, the remaining vehicles in the funeral procession may follow through the intersection regardless of any traffic control devices. All vehicles in the procession should have their headlights on, and may also use flashing hazard lights, as a signal to other drivers not to drive between or interfere with the funeral procession. Public transit. All drivers shall yield the right of way to public transit buses traveling in the same direction that have signaled and are re-entering the traffic flow from a specifically designated pull-out bay. Commercial motor vehicles. Sharing the road with commercial motor vehicles, CMVs, such as semi-trucks or travel buses means abiding by different rules and safety strategies. Rules for motorists. 1. Stay out of the no zone. CMVs have large blind spots in front, behind, and on both sides of the vehicle. Even though large vehicles have several rear-view mirrors, other vehicles will be hidden from view if within the no zone/blind spot. 2. Don't tailgate, you'll be in the rear blind spot and may collide with the CMV if it stops unexpectedly. 3. If you are stopped behind a CMV on an upgrade, leave space in case the CMV drifts back when it starts to move. Also, keep to the left in your lane so the driver can see that you are stopped behind the CMV. 4. Don't use high beam headlights when following a CMV at night. Bright lights will blind the driver when they reflect off the CMV's large side mirrors. 5. When a CMV is coming from the opposite direction, keep to the right to avoid a sideswipe crash. 6. CMVs often need to swing wide to the left in order to make a right turn. Do not drive between the CMV and the curb, they will not be able to see you. 7. Never cross behind a CMV that is preparing to back up or is in the process of doing so. The size of most CMVs and trailers completely hide objects behind them from view. Passing commercial vehicles. When passing a CMV, first check to your front and rear, and move into the passing lane only if it is clear and safe to pass. You must signal that you are changing lanes, and let the CMV driver know you are passing by blinking your headlights, especially at night. Pass CMVs on the left side for maximum visibility. Complete your pass as quickly as possible so that you do not remain in the CMV's blind spot. Avoid cutting in too soon when passing a CMV. Large CMVs can't stop as quickly as other vehicles. Be sure you can see the cab in your rearview mirror before completing your pass. CMV drivers may flash headlights to let you know it is okay to merge back into the lane. Avoid passing a CMV on a downgrade. The CMV's weight and momentum will cause it to increase speed. When a CMV passes you, keep to the right side of your lane. Do not speed up while the CMV is passing. Golf carts. You may only drive a golf cart on golf courses or roadways that are designated for golf carts. These roads will be marked with appropriate signs. A golf cart must not be driven by anyone under the age of 14 on public roads or streets. A golf cart must only be operated during the hours between sunrise and sunset, unless the local government allows them to be driven outside of those hours. Additional equipment is required for night driving. Asterisk. Golf carts may not be operated at all unless allowed by the specific county or city. You may cross state roads if the posted speed limit is 45 miles per hour or less and only at an intersection with a traffic control device. You can drive a golf cart on a sidewalk only if it is at least 5 feet wide. You must yield to pedestrians. You can drive a golf cart on a 2-lane county road in a city that designates it may be used for golf carts. All local and state traffic laws must be obeyed, including yielding the right of way. Required equipment for golf carts. Efficient brakes. Rear view mirror. Reliable steering. Red warning reflectors on front and rear. Safe tires. Asterisk required for night driving. Headlights. Brake lights. Turn signals. Windshield. Low-speed vehicles. Low-speed vehicles, LSV, are four-wheeled vehicles with top speeds of 21 to 25 miles per hour. Golf carts can be converted to low-speed vehicles and vice versa. You must have a valid driver license to operate an LSV, and the LSV must only be operated on streets where the posted speed limit is 35 miles per hour or less. Be equipped with headlamps, stop lamps, turn signals, tail lamps, reflex reflectors, parking brakes, rear view mirrors, a windshield, seat belts, and a vehicle identification number. Be registered and properly insured. See page 57. Special driving situations 7. Night driving. You will need to drive with extra care at night. You can't see as far ahead and the glare from oncoming cars can reduce your vision even more. Florida law says you must use headlights between the hours of sunset and sunrise. Not use high beam headlights within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle, use low beam headlights. Not use high beam headlights within 300 feet of the vehicle ahead of you, use low beam headlights. Not drive using only parking lights in place of headlights. Turn on your parking lights at night when you are parked on a roadway or shoulder outside of cities and towns. Follow these guidelines for driving at night. Avoid overdriving your lights, driving too fast for what you can see. High beam headlights can reveal objects up to a distance of 450 feet and are most effective for speeds faster than 25 miles per hour. When leaving a brightly lit area, drive slowly until your eyes adjust to the darkness. Don't look directly at oncoming headlights. Use lane lines as visual guides and look quickly to check the other vehicle's position every few seconds. Drive as far to the right as you can. If a vehicle with one light comes toward you, it could be a vehicle with a missing headlight. High beam headlights can reveal objects up to a distance of at least 450 feet and are most effective for speeds faster than 25 miles per hour. At night, glare from oncoming cars can reduce your vision. Low visibility. Smoke from wildfires and controlled burning, fog, and heavy rain will affect your ability to see. When driving in low visibility conditions, you must turn on your headlights. Parking lights are not a substitute. Drive with lights on low beam. High beams will reflect back off the fog and impair visibility even more. Do not drive using flashing hazard lights, which can only be used when your car is broken down/stopped on the side of the road. Turn on your headlights whenever you turn on your windshield wipers. Use wipers and defrosters for maximum visibility. Sometimes it is difficult to determine if poor visibility is due to fog or moisture on the windshield. Use the right edge of the road or edge lines and center lines as visual guides. Eliminate all distractions in your vehicle. Turn off the radio, cell phone, etc. Watch out for slow-moving and parked vehicles. Keep your windshield and headlights clean to reduce glare and increase visibility. Rain. When you turn on your windshield wipers, turn on your headlights. Do not turn on hazard lights. Slow down. Roads become slick during rainstorms, and especially if it has not rained in a while, oil buildup on the highway. Wet road conditions will increase your braking/stopping distance, so be sure to increase following distance. Hydroplaning happens when your vehicle slides on top of a thin layer of water between your tires and the road. When your tires are not touching the road, you can easily lose control and skid. Tires with low air pressure or bad tread increase the risk of hydroplaning, and so does speeding. See page 52 for safety tips during hydroplaning. Brakes often become wet after driving in heavy rain. They may pull to one side or the other, or they may not hold at all. If this happens, slow down and gently push on the brake pedal until your brakes are working again. If you come to a roadway that is flooded, turn around and find another way to go. Do not attempt to drive through the water. It is impossible to determine the depth or current, and your vehicle could become submerged or swept away. Flashing hazard lights must only be used while your vehicle is legally stopped or disabled on the highway or shoulder. Exception: funeral processions. Animals. There may be times when an animal suddenly runs in front of your vehicle. Do not swerve into oncoming traffic or off the roadway to avoid hitting the animal. This may result in a more serious crash than if your vehicle collided with the animal. To reduce your chances of colliding with an animal, use caution when driving at dawn and dusk. This is when animals are most active. Be extra alert when driving on roadways marked with animal crossing signs and near woods and water. Scan the sides of the road and watch for the reflection of your headlights in the eyes of animals. Deer/vehicle crashes occur most frequently from October to December. Slow down when approaching animals that are standing near the roadway. They may bolt out or change direction. Flash your headlights to warn other drivers when animals are spotted on or near the road. If you have time to avoid hitting an animal, reduce your speed, tap your brakes, and sound your horn. Deer tend to fixate on headlights, so flashing them may cause the animal to freeze. If there are no vehicles close behind you, brake hard without locking your wheels. If collision is inevitable, do not swerve to avoid the animal. Keep your vehicle under control and on the roadway. Report the crash to the law enforcement if it involves a large animal such as a bear, deer, or farm animal. Following law enforcement officer instructions. If you are stopped by a law enforcement officer: 1. Safely pull off the roadway immediately to the extreme right, and clear of traffic. 2. At night, reduce your headlights to parking lights and turn on your interior light. 3. Stay in the driver's seat. Do not get out of the vehicle unless asked to do so. Keep your hands visible. Sit calmly and follow the officer's instructions. 4. Be prepared to show your driver license, vehicle registration, and proof of insurance when asked. If a law enforcement officer is directing traffic where there is a traffic signal, obey the officer, not the signal. Hands on the wheel. Eyes on the road. Mind on driving. flhsmv.gov/teen. Handling emergencies. 8. Defensive driving. Defensive driving is using safe driving strategies to prevent crashes. This means that you alter your driving to fit the weather conditions, the way you feel, and the actions of other motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians. Follow these steps to avoid crashes. 1. Look for possible danger. For example, if you see school zone signs, plan what you will do if a child runs or rides into the street. 2. Anticipate what another driver might do and make appropriate adjustments. For example, you've noticed someone aggressively passing and changing lanes as they approach you from the rear. You should anticipate that they will probably pass you and cut you off. Slow down and be ready to brake, if necessary. 3. Crashes happen at intersections more than any other place. Use extra caution when approaching an intersection. 4. If a crash is unavoidable, it is better to swerve off the road than into oncoming traffic. It is better to drive off the road than to skid off. It is better to hit something that is not moving instead of a vehicle moving toward you. Hitting a vehicle moving in the same direction as you is better than hitting a vehicle head-on. Hitting a soft object, e.g., a garden hedge, is better than hitting a solid object like a tree or post. Throughout Florida in 2018, more than 47,000 teen drivers were involved in crashes, and there were 88 teen driver fatalities. Source: FLHSMV. Avoiding rear-end collisions. To avoid striking the vehicle in front of you, keep at least 4 seconds following distance and increase following distance during unfavorable weather or heavy traffic. To lower the risk of someone running into the rear of your vehicle, check your brake lights often to make sure they are clean and working properly. Know what is going on around you. Use the rear view and side mirrors. Signal well in advance for turns, stops, and lane changes. Avoid sudden stops, slow down gradually and smoothly. Drive with the flow of traffic, within the speed limit. Driving too slowly can be dangerous. Breakdown/disabled vehicles. 1. You must move the vehicle so all 4 wheels are out of traffic lanes as soon as possible. If you can't move it, you must have it moved as soon as possible. 2. If possible, park where the disabled vehicle can be seen for 200 feet in each direction. 3. Turn on your hazard lights. 4. Get all passengers out of the car on the side away from traffic. 5. Call *FHP 347 or another law enforcement agency for assistance. Vehicle approaching in your lane. 1. Sound horn and flash high beams. 2. Brake hard. 3. Steer to the side of the road. Right wheels off pavement. 1. Take your foot off the gas pedal. 2. Hold the wheel firmly and steer in a straight line. 3. Brake lightly. 4. Wait until the road is clear. Turn back on the pavement at a slow speed, signal your intention. Overcorrection. Overcorrection is excessive steering in reaction to an event or loss of control of a vehicle. It typically occurs when a motorist steers too sharply in an effort to avoid a collision or driving off of the roadway. It can result in a rollover crash or steering into oncoming traffic. Avoid overcorrecting. If you find yourself unintentionally leaving the roadway, 1. Stay calm. 2. Hold the wheel firmly. 3. Take your foot off the gas and do not slam on the brakes. 4. Steer the car where desired. 5. If necessary, steer the car to a safe place and stop. Skidding/hydroplaning. 1. Take your foot off the gas pedal. 2. Do not use your brakes, if possible. 3. Turn the vehicle's front tires in the direction you want to go, steer in the direction of the skid. 4. If you are about to hit something, see emergency braking, below. Emergency braking. To stop in an emergency situation where traction is lost, drivers with conventional brakes should pump the brakes. Drivers with anti-lock brakes, ABS, must press down hard on the brake pedal, hold it, and steer out of danger. If the motorist with ABS removes steady pressure from the brake pedal or pumps the brakes, the ABS will disengage or turn off. Vehicles can be equipped with 2 different types of ABS. 4-wheel, on passenger cars and some light trucks. Brake hard, steer, and keep constant pressure on the brake pedal. Rear wheel, only on some light trucks. ABS prevents the rear wheels from locking up so that the back end of the vehicle does not skid. The front wheels can still lock up and cause the driver to lose steering control. If this happens, let up on the brake pedal just enough to allow the front wheels to start rolling again to regain control. Brake failure. 1. If you do not have ABS, pump the brake pedal hard and fast. If you have ABS, skip to number 2. 2. Shift to a lower gear. 3. Apply the parking brake slowly and while holding down the release lever/button. This will prevent your rear wheels from locking and your vehicle from skidding. 4. Rub your tires against the curb to slow your vehicle or pull off the road into an open space. Wet brakes. 1. Test brakes lightly. 2. Brakes may pull to one side or may not hold at all. 3. Dry brakes by driving slowly in low gear and applying brakes. Jammed gas pedal. 1. Take your foot off the gas pedal. 2. Press the clutch, manual transmission, or shift into neutral, automatic transmission. 3. If necessary, press don't slam brakes to slow the vehicle *. 4. Carefully steer to a safe place to stop. * Do not shut off engine unless number 1 and number 2 do not work to slow the vehicle. If you shut off your engine, you will lose the ability to steer the car. Tire blowout. 1. Take your foot off the gas. Do not use brakes. 2. Concentrate on steering. 3. Slow down gradually. 4. Brake softly when the car is under control. 5. Pull completely off the pavement/roadway. Fire. 1. Exit the vehicle. 2. Call 911 for assistance. 3. Attempt to extinguish the fire only if you have a portable extinguisher and the fire is small. Never apply water to a gasoline or diesel fire. 4. If you can't extinguish the fire, get away from the vehicle. The fumes are toxic and an explosion is possible. Stalled on railroad tracks. If your car stalls on the railroad tracks, get everyone out immediately and get away from the car. If you are stalled at a railroad crossing and the warning lights begin to flash, 20 seconds is the minimal amount of time that it takes a train to reach the grade after the warning lights begin flashing. If a train is coming, run in a 45-degree angle away from the tracks, but in a direction toward the train. You will be less likely to be hit by your vehicle or debris from the collision. Call 911 or *FHP. Emergency Notification System, ENS. There is a blue ENS sign installed at every highway rail grade crossing. This sign provides critical emergency contact information to reach the railroad responsible if there is a problem at the crossing or if something is blocking the tracks. Submerged vehicle. If you crash into a pond, river, or other body of water, your vehicle will only float on the surface for 30 to 60 seconds. Get out of the vehicle immediately. Do not call 911 until you are completely out of the vehicle. 1. Unbuckle your seat belt. 2. Roll the window down before the car sinks. If you are able to open the door, be aware that the car will immediately fill with water. 3. If you are unable to roll the window down, try to kick out a side window. There are many types of escape tools available that will quickly break a window. If you keep one of these in your vehicle, be sure it is within reach in case of an emergency. Power outage. In circumstances where the power is out and traffic signals are not active, treat intersections as a four-way stop. Vehicles move through the intersection in the order they arrived. First to arrive is first to move forward. If multiple vehicles arrive at the same time, the driver on the left yields to the driver on the right. Your responsibilities after a crash. If you are involved in a crash that results in death, injury, or property damage, it is your duty required by law to give information and render aid. Always remain calm. 1. Stop and call 911*FHP, or local law enforcement. 2. Turn on hazard lights. 3. If anyone is hurt, you must get help immediately. 4. If the crash is minor and your vehicle is blocking the flow of traffic, you must move it or have it moved. 5. Exchange vehicle, witness, and driver information, name, address, phone number, license plate number, driver license, and insurance. 6. Take photos or sketch the scene, showing vehicle crash locations. A law enforcement officer will complete a written report if the crash involves a charge of DUI or results in death, injury, or property damage to the extent a vehicle must be towed. If the crash results in vehicle or property damage and does not require a law enforcement report, you must make a written report of the crash to FLHSMV within 10 days. This can be done at flhsmv.gov. If you are in a crash with an unattended vehicle or other property, you must make every attempt to locate the owner and notify law enforcement. If you can't locate the property owner, you must leave a note including your name, contact information, and license plate, registration number. Leaving the scene. It is against the law to leave the scene of a crash involving death, injury, or property damage. Hit and run penalties. Leaving the scene resulting in death, first-degree felony, minimum 4-year prison term. Serious bodily injury, second-degree felony. Injury, third-degree felony. All of the above include losing driver license for 3 years minimum. Damage to a vehicle or other property which is driven or attended by any person, second-degree misdemeanor. First aid. If you come upon a crash, call 911 or *FHP, 347, and / or send someone for help. Don't assume someone else has called. It is better for emergency services to get multiple calls rather than none at all. Do not put yourself in danger. Pull as far of the road as possible, and turn your hazard lights on to alert others. Be careful when exiting your vehicle and stay out of traffic. If someone is injured, apply first aid. However, don't move an injured person who may have a neck or spinal injury. Don't attempt to remove the helmet of an injured motorcycle or bicycle rider. Treat for shock. Persons who have been injured may go into shock. When someone is in shock, all of the body functions slow down. Shock can be very serious and can cause death. Treat the injured for shock regardless of whether or not they appear to be in shock. Keep the injured person calm. Don't give them anything to drink. Have the person lie flat and elevate their legs. Cover the person with blankets to hold body heat. Maintain an open airway. Stay at the scene. See lights, move over, or slow down. Move over a lane for stopped law enforcement, emergency, sanitation, utility service vehicles, and tow trucks. If you can't move over, slow to 20 miles per hour less than the posted speed limit. If the posted speed limit is 20 miles per hour or less, slow down to 5 miles per hour. #MoveOver Florida. Your driving privilege 9. Driving in Florida is a privilege you earn. In addition to the rules of the road, you must also abide by the following laws in order to maintain your driving privilege. Insurance laws. Florida law requires drivers and vehicle owners to maintain insurance to cover costs in case of a crash. These laws include the no-fault law and financial responsibility law. No-fault law. Before you register your car in Florida, you must show proof of personal injury protection, PIP, and property damage liability, PDL, coverage. PIP covers your injuries if you are in a crash, no matter who caused it. PDL coverage pays for damage to other people's property that you caused. Every owner or person in charge of operating a motor vehicle on Florida roadways must provide proof of valid PIP and PDL insurance at the time of vehicle registration. Have a minimum of $10,000 in PIP and a minimum of $10,000 in PDL coverage. Purchase the policy from an insurance agency licensed to do business in Florida. Maintain the insurance continuously throughout the registration period, and always have proof of valid Florida insurance readily available when the vehicle is being driven on Florida roadways. You must comply if you own a motor vehicle that has been in the state for 90 days, consecutive or non-consecutive, during the last 365 days. You must maintain proper insurance or your driver license/license plate registration can be suspended. Your insurance company is required by law to notify the FLHSMV when you renew your policy, if you fail to renew it when due, or if the policy is cancelled either by you or the insurance company. If you don't renew your coverage or it is cancelled, FLHSMV will send you a notice that you must provide proof of new coverage. If you fail to provide proof of new insurance, your driver license and license plate can be suspended for up to 3 years. If you don't maintain insurance coverage throughout the vehicle registration period, you must turn in the vehicle license plate to any driver license service center. Turn in your plate before canceling your insurance to prevent the suspension of your license and to avoid reinstatement fees. Always carry proof of insurance when you or someone else is driving your vehicle. Your insurance company will provide you with a Florida Insurance ID card. You must have the card, or electronic proof on a smartphone, with you when you're driving. You may receive a citation if you are stopped by a law enforcement officer and don't have proof of insurance with you. You'll have to go to court to prove that you had insurance coverage at the time you were stopped, or your driver license may be suspended. If you don't have proof and the judge convicts you, your driver license and license plate will be suspended. In order to lift the suspension, you will have to get insurance and pay a reinstatement fee, $150 to $500. If your driver license and license plate have been under suspension for 30 days or more, a law enforcement officer can seize your license plate immediately. The officer may also take you to jail for driving with a suspended license, which is a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine. If your driver license or license plate is suspended for not having insurance, you won't be able to get a temporary license for any reason, not even to go to work. Also, if you show a law enforcement officer an insurance card when you know the insurance has been cancelled, or if you falsify the card, you may be arrested and charged with a second-degree misdemeanor. FLHSMV will always provide you with an opportunity to prove insurance coverage or have an administrative hearing. When you receive the notice of suspension of your license, you may request a hearing, otherwise, one will not be scheduled for you. Financial responsibility law. In addition to the required PIP and PDL coverage, if you're in a crash, you will have to prove that you are financially responsible for all damages you caused. You can prove such financial responsibility by having insurance in effect from a company licensed to do business in Florida, or obtaining a financial responsibility certificate from FLHSMV. Get more information about financial responsibility certificates at flhsmv.gov. Depending on your driving record, you may have to obtain additional insurance beyond the basic PIP and PDL requirements. For example, Florida law requires you to have bodily injury liability, BIL, insurance and increased PDL coverage when you are convicted of driving under the influence, DUI. The coverage required in such a case must be at least $100,000 BIL for injuries to one person, $300,000 BIL for injuries to two or more people, and $50,000 PDL. This higher coverage must be in effect for 3 years from the reinstatement date of your driving privilege. The higher limits will no longer apply if you are not convicted of another DUI or any felony traffic offense during that 3-year period. Other higher coverage limits are required by law if your driver license is suspended for accumulation of excessive points for infractions, you cause a crash and people were injured, your driver license was revoked for habitual traffic offender status, or your driver license was revoked for any serious offense. The required coverage for these cases are $10,000 BIL for injuries to one person, $20,000 BIL for injuries to two or more people, $10,000 PDL, or $30,000 combined single limits. If you do not provide proof of higher coverage limits, your driver license and/or license plates will be suspended for up to 3 years. In addition, if you are the driver or the owner of a vehicle involved in a crash that is your fault, FLHSMV can require you to pay for the damages before your driving privilege is reinstated. Vehicle registration. The vehicle you own must have a Florida registration certificate and license plate. If a non-resident accepts employment or engages in a trade, profession, or occupation in Florida, or enrolls children to be educated in a Florida public school, they must obtain the registration certificate and license plate within 10 days after beginning employment or enrollment. You also must have a Florida certificate of title for your vehicle unless an out-of-state lien holder/lessor holds the title and will not release it to Florida. To get your registration certificate and license plate, you must show proof of Florida insurance. In most cases, you need a Florida driver license to get insurance. You must also prove that you own your vehicle by showing your certificate of title. The Vehicle Identification Number, VIN, on any vehicle previously titled or registered in another state must be verified by one of several designated officials before the vehicle can be titled and registered in Florida. VIN verification is not required on any new vehicles, regardless of whether purchased in Florida or out of state, or new/used mobile homes, trailer-type recreational vehicles, travel trailers, camp trailers, truck campers, and fifth-wheel recreational trailers, or trailers and semi-trailers with a weight of less than 2,000 pounds. Applying for title, license plates and registration. Apply for title, license plates, and registration at any service center in Florida. The cost of your license plate will depend on the type and weight of your vehicle. Your vehicle must always have a current license plate and you must always have your vehicle's registration when you are driving. If you buy a vehicle from a dealer in Florida, the dealer must apply for a certificate of title, certificate of registration and license plate for you. If you buy a vehicle from an individual, you must obtain the title from the individual and apply for a certificate of title in your name. You may apply for a certificate of title, certificate of registration, and license plate at the same time. You cannot get a license plate until you have a title to prove that you own the vehicle. All first-time driver license applicants who hold an out-of-state license should apply for a Florida driver license before they register their vehicle in Florida. Many service centers will do both at the same time. Renewal. Vehicle license plates and registrations must be renewed each year or biennially, on or before the birthday of the first owner listed on the registration form. Registrations may be renewed up to 90 days prior to the expiration date. Each time you renew, you must prove that you have the required insurance, unless it's on file and electronically updated. Registrations expire at midnight on the birthday of the first owner listed on the registration form, except for mobile homes renew yearly by December 31st. Semi-trucks and semi-trailers renew yearly by December 31st. Vehicles owned by companies and corporations and some CMVs renew yearly by June 30th. Violations of the driver license law. It's the law to provide your driver license, proof of vehicle registration, and proof of insurance when stopped by a law enforcement officer. You can be put in jail or required to pay a fine for the following offenses: altering your license in any way, Unlawful use of your license. Allowing your license to be used by another person. Making a fraudulent application for a driver license or ID card. Having more than one credential, U.S. driver license or ID card. Allowing an unlicensed person to use your car, or renting a motor vehicle to someone without a license. Giving false statements to a law enforcement officer or in a courtroom. Knowingly giving false information in crash reports. Time restrictions for minors, driving curfews. Minors holding a learner's license must be accompanied by a licensed driver who is age 21 plus, and must only drive during daylight hours. After holding a learner's license for 3 months you may drive until 10 p.m. A 16-year-old licensed driver may not drive between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless driving to or from work or accompanied by a licensed driver who is age 21 or older. A 17-year-old licensed driver may not drive between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., unless driving to or from work or accompanied by a licensed driver who is age 21 or older. Littering. It is a crime to dump litter from a motor vehicle in any amount on any highway, road, street, etc. If you throw litter up to 15 pounds onto roadways, you can be fined $100. You can be charged with a first-degree misdemeanor, fined up to $1,000, and receive 3 points on your driving record, if dumping more than 15 pounds of litter. The court may also require you to pick up litter along roadways. Use ashtrays for cigarettes and litter bags for trash while riding in motor vehicles. Cigarettes that are tossed out of windows can lead to fires. Road damage. It is against the law to damage the roads by driving on the rim of a flat tire or by any other means. Driving under the influence, DUI. You can be charged with driving under the influence, DUI, if you are found to be driving or in actual physical control of a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcoholic beverages, controlled substances, prescriptions, or over-the-counter medications. At the time of arrest, your license will be administratively suspended if you have a breath or blood alcohol level, BAL, of 0.08 or above, or refuse to submit to a breath/blood alcohol test. Implied consent law. You will be asked to take a blood test, a urine test, or a breath test if a law enforcement officer has reasonable cause to believe that you are under the influence of alcohol or drugs while driving. By law, you have agreed by signing your driver license to take these tests if asked. If you refuse to take the tests when asked, your license will automatically be suspended for 1 year. A second refusal will result in an 18-month suspension and a first-degree misdemeanor. In DUI cases involving death or serious injury, you will be required to take the blood test without your consent. The blood must be drawn by a doctor, nurse, or other health professional. Blood may be drawn if you are unconscious. Penalties for DUI: first DUI conviction. Fine, $500 to $1,000 BAL .15 or higher or minor in the vehicle, not less than $1,000 or more than $2,000. Community service, 50 hours. Probation, up to 1 year. Imprisonment, not more than 6 months if BAL .15 or higher or minor in the vehicle, not more than 9 months. License revocation, minimum 180 days. DUI school, 12 hours. Evaluation conducted to determine need for treatment for addiction. Ignition interlock device, if court ordered if BAL .15 or higher, or minor in the vehicle, at least 6 continuous months. Second DUI offense/conviction. Fine, $1,000 to $2,000 BAL .15 or higher or minor in the vehicle, not less than $2,000 or more than $4,000. Imprisonment, not more than 9 months. License revocation, minimum 180 days. DUI school, 21 hours. Evaluation conducted to determine need for treatment for addiction. Ignition interlock device, at least 1 continuous year. Third DUI offense/conviction. Fine, $2,000 to $5,000 if BAL .15 or higher or minor in the vehicle, not less than $4,000. Imprisonment, not more than 12 months. License revocation, minimum 180 days. DUI school, 21 hours. Evaluation conducted to determine need for treatment for addiction. Ignition interlock device, at least 2 continuous years. Zero tolerance. Any driver under 21 years of age who is stopped by law enforcement and has a BAL of .02 or higher will automatically have their driving privilege suspended for 6 months. Any driver under 21 with a BAL of .05 or higher is required to attend a substance abuse course. An evaluation will be completed and parents or legal guardians will be notified of the results for all drivers under the age of 19. Traffic crashes. If you are charged in a crash, you may have to go to court. The law enforcement officer who comes to the scene of the crash will file charges against any driver who violated a traffic law. Those charged will have a chance to be heard in court. The court will then decide the penalty. Others who were present at the crash may have to come to court as a witness. If you are found at fault in a crash where anyone was injured and transported to a medical treatment facility, or it is your second collision in a 2-year period, you will be required by law to attend a traffic collision avoidance course. Florida law states that if you are convicted of possessing, selling, or trafficking in drugs, including marijuana, your driver license must be revoked. Additionally, if drugs are in your vehicle because you are using your car to transport, sell, or distribute drugs, or to assist in committing any other felony, then your car may be seized and forfeited to the arresting agency as contraband. 3 crashes in 3 years law. If you were convicted of, or pleaded nolo contendere, no contest, to your 3rd traffic offense that caused a crash within 36 months, you must complete a FLHSMV approved driver improvement course that includes behind-the-wheel training and an assessment of your driving safety. You must complete 12 hours of an approved advanced driver improvement course, ADI. Receive 4 hours of behind-the-wheel training from a Florida licensed commercial driving school, CDs, and pass the extended driving test with a driver license examiner. Failure to complete these requirements within 90 days will result in a license cancellation. Point system. There are a number of infractions that can cause the loss or restriction of your driving privileges. You receive points for moving violations. If you accumulate too many points in a certain period of time, your license will be suspended and can be revoked. Violation. Some examples: points. Unlawful speed 15 miles per hour or less over lawful or posted speed, 3. Unlawful speed 16 miles per hour or more over lawful or posted speed, 4. Unlawful speed resulting in a crash, 6. Leaving the scene of a crash resulting in property damage of more than $50, 6. Texting while driving, 3. Texting occurred in a school zone, points added to the primary offense, plus 3 asterisk. Texting resulted in a crash, plus 6 asterisk. Violation of traffic signal /sign /device, 4. Passing a stopped school bus, 4. Passing a stopped school bus resulting in serious injury or death, 6. Reckless driving, 4. Driving during restricted hours, 3. Using a handheld device in a school crossing, school zone, or work zone, 3. Asterisk points added to primary offense. Length of suspension: 12 points within a 12-month period 30 days. 18 points within a 18-month period 3 months. 24 points within a 36-month period 1 year. The fine for exceeding the speed limit by more than 50 miles per hour is $1,000 for the first offense and $2,500 for the second. Fines are doubled when speeding infractions occur within a school zone or construction zone, with possible civil penalties up to $1,000, and you can be required to complete a driving course. The motorist receives the same number of points listed if the conviction occurs out of state or in a federal court. Mandatory restriction for minors. Any driver under the age of 18 who accumulates 6 or more points within a 12-month period is automatically restricted for 1 year to driving for business purposes only. If additional points are accumulated, the restriction is extended for 90 days for every additional point received. Losing the privilege to drive. Every driver who obtains a license must drive safely to keep it. If you break laws or become an unsafe driver, your license can be suspended, revoked, or cancelled. The following table includes some but not all of the reasons one can lose the privilege to drive. Resolve your traffic citations in a timely manner so that you do not lose your driving privilege. Your license will be suspended, temporary withdrawal of driving privilege, if you make a fraudulent driver license application. Allow your license to be used for a purpose that is against the law. Are convicted in a traffic court and the court orders that your license be suspended. Refuse to take a test to show if you are driving while under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Misuse a restricted license. Earn a certain number of points for traffic offenses on the point system. Break a traffic law and fail to pay your fine or appear in court as directed. Fail to pay child support. Fail to carry insurance on your vehicle. Fail to stop for a school bus. Commit retail theft. Are non-compliant with education requirements, school dropout. Your license must be revoked, termination of driving privilege, if you are found guilty of, or department records show, driving while under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or other controlled substances. A felony in which a motor vehicle is used. Not stopping to give help when the vehicle you are driving is involved in a crash causing death or personal injury. Lying about the ownership or operation of motor vehicles. 3 cases of reckless driving within 1 year. An immoral act in which a motor vehicle was used. 3 major offenses or 15 offenses for which you receive points within a 5-year period. A felony for drug possession. Your vision is worse than the standard minimum requirements. Racing on the highway. Note: forfeiting bail and not going to court to avoid being convicted of reckless driving counts the same as a conviction. Your license can be cancelled, void and terminated, if your license was issued in error. You give false information or identification. You fail to complete a required school. Penalties for passing a stopped school bus. Penalties for passing a stopped school bus include: moving violation subject to citation. Must complete a basic driver improvement course. 4 points on your driver license, and minimum fine of $165. If you pass on the side where children enter and exit, you will receive a minimum fine of $265. When passing results in the serious injury or the death of another person. Serve 120 community service hours in a trauma center or hospital. Participate in a victims impact panel session or driver improvement course. 6 points on your driver license. Suspension of license for a minimum of 1 year, and $1,500 fine. For school buses, stop and stay hands-free in school zones. flhsmv.gov/child safety. Administrative hearings. If your driving privilege is suspended or revoked, you may be eligible to apply for a hardship license or reinstatement. For eligibility information, contact the local Bureau of Administrative Reviews, BAR, office, Driver License Service Center, or the FLHSMV Customer Service Center. To schedule an administrative hearing, go to mydmvportal.flhsmv.gov. *. If you are administratively suspended for a breath or blood alcohol level of 0.08 or above, or refuse to submit to a breath, urine, or blood test and wish to appeal this suspension, you must apply for a formal or informal review hearing at the appropriate bar office within 10 days of your date of arrest. A first-time DUI offender who has never had prior DUI-related offenses may be eligible to request a review of eligibility for a restricted driver license. By accepting a restricted driver license, the driver agrees to waive the right to a review of the suspension. To elect this option, the driver must appear at a bar office within 10 days of the DUI arrest, and request the waiver review option and pay a non-refundable fee. Disabled parking permit. If you have a mobility impairment, you don't have to pay parking fees on any public street, highway, or metered space and may park in spaces reserved for persons with disabilities. However, you must display a disabled parking permit or plate to park in these designated spaces, and the vehicle must actually be transporting the person with the disability who owns the permit or registration. Anyone who obtains or uses a permit that does not belong to them can be charged with a second-degree misdemeanor, punishable by a $500 fine or up to 6 months in jail, and the illegally parked vehicle can be towed and the permit confiscated. * New web portal coming in the fall of 2020. Real ID. October 1, 2021. Make sure you become Real ID compliant before the deadline. The new credentials have a star in the upper right corner of the card, as shown in the sample license examples above. Florida is a Real ID compliant state and all Florida licenses should be accepted nationwide. The Department of Homeland Security announced on December 20, 2013, that enforcement of Real ID credentials will begin in a measured, fair and responsible way. Enforcement at airports across the country begins October 1, 2021. Part 2: The Florida Driver License. 10. Getting your driver license or ID card. 11. Driving school providers. 12. Driver license testing. Study guide for knowledge exam. Getting your license or ID card. 10. Definitions. Resident, a person who has his principal place of domicile in this state for a period of more than 6 consecutive months, has registered to vote, has made a statement of domicile pursuant to Section 222.17, Florida statutes, or has filed for homestead exemption on property in this state. Immigrant, a permanent resident alien who is admitted to the United States, U.S., as a lawful permanent resident. Immigrants are legally accorded the privilege of residing permanently in the U.S. and are issued immigrant visas or adjusted to permanent resident status by the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service, USCIS. Non-immigrant, an alien who seeks temporary entry to the U.S. for a specific purpose and who has declared the intention to stay only for a temporary period of time. U.S. citizen, a person born in the U.S., its territories, naturalized, or one who has obtained a certificate of citizenship from the U.S. Department of State. Who needs a Florida license to drive? If you are a Florida resident, you must get a Florida driver license to drive a motor vehicle on public streets and highways. A non-resident, except a migrant or seasonal farm worker, who accepts employment or engages in a trade, profession, or occupation in this state, or enrolls their child in a Florida public school must get a Florida driver license within 30 days in order to operate a motor vehicle. Exceptions for the Florida driver license. You do not have to get a Florida driver license to drive in Florida if you are a non-resident who is at least 16 years old and have a valid non-commercial driver license from another state or territory of the U.S., or an international driving permit from your country of residence accompanied by a valid driver license from that country. These people are also exempt, if they hold a valid driver license from their state/country. U.S. government employee driving a non-commercial U.S. government motor vehicle on official business. Any non-resident working for a firm on a contract for the U.S. government and driving a non-commercial vehicle. This exemption is only for 60 days. Members of the armed forces stationed in Florida, their spouses and dependents. A licensed driver who lives in another state and travels regularly between home and work in Florida. Any non-resident attending college in Florida. Non-resident migrant farm workers even though they are employed or place children in public schools providing they have a valid driver license from their home state. Those who drive only vehicles like farm tractors or road machines temporarily on the highway. Florida driver license classifications. The Class E is for drivers of non-commercial vehicles. You must have a commercial driver's license, CDL, Class A, B, or C to operate any single vehicle with a gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, of 26,001 or more pounds, or a combination vehicle with a gross combination weight rating of 26,001 or more pounds, if the trailer has a GVWR of 10,001 or more pounds, or a vehicle designed to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver, or any size vehicle which requires hazardous material placards or is carrying material listed as a select agent or toxin in 42 CFR Part 73. Federal regulations through the Department of Homeland Security require a background check and fingerprinting for the hazardous materials endorsement. See the Florida CDL Handbook for more information. Requirements for Class E driver license. 1. Be at least 16 years old. 2. Completion of traffic law and substance abuse education course. 3. Provide required identification. 4. Pass vision, Class E knowledge, and driving skill exams. 5. If under age 18, must hold a learner's license for 12 months or until the 18th birthday, whichever comes first. Must have no moving traffic violation convictions for 12 months from learner's license date of issue, or may have one moving traffic violation, within 12 months of learner's license issue, if adjudication is withheld. A parent, legal guardian, or responsible adult 21 years old or older, must certify that the driver has had at least 50 hours of driving experience, of which 10 hours were at night. Must have parent or guardian sign parental consent form. Must be in compliance with school attendance. Learner's license. 1. Be at least 15 years old. 2. Completion of traffic law and substance abuse education course. 3. Pass vision and Class E knowledge exams. Reciprocity. The Class E knowledge and driving skill exams are reciprocated, waived, if you present a valid driver license from any of the following: United States, including territories/possessions. United States military. Canada *. France. Germany, driving skills test only. Republic of China, Taiwan. South Korea. Note: a vision exam is still required. * Canadians can reciprocate examination requirements by surrendering their Canadian driver license. If not surrendered, Class E exams will be required. Licenses from other states or U.S. territories/possessions must be surrendered when the Florida driver license is issued. Traffic Law and Substance Abuse Education Course, TLSA. You must complete a TLSA course if you have never held or do not have in your possession a driver license in any state, country, or jurisdiction and are applying for a learner's or driver license. Parental consent for minors. If you are under age 18 and are not married, you must have your parent or legal guardian sign your license application in front of the driver license agent or a notary public. The parent or legal guardian who signs your application agrees to take responsibility for your driving. If the signer decides to rescind responsibility, your license will be cancelled. To cancel the license, the signer must write a letter to FLHSMV requesting to withdraw their consent for the minor driver, and include the minor driver's complete name, date of birth, and license number. Send the request to Bureau Chief of Motorist Compliance Division of Motorist Services 2900 Appalachie Parkway MS 87 Tallahassee, Florida 32399-0575. The signer may also go to mydmvportal.flhsmv.gov to cancel the license. *. Married minors must show certified marriage certificate. Emancipated minors must show certified court order. Physical and mental requirements. You must list any physical or mental issues that might affect your driving on your driver license application. If you have epilepsy, fainting spells, dizziness, blackouts, or any other medical condition that could impair your driving, you may be asked to have your doctor complete a medical report form. This form can be requested through your local driver license service center. The report must be completed by your doctor and submitted to FLHSMV before a driver license is issued. If you are diabetic and use insulin, you may request that insulin dependent is indicated on your driver license. * New web portal coming in the fall of 2020. Restriction codes. If you have a restriction on your license and do not comply with the requirements, you could receive a citation and have your license suspended. Restriction codes. A. Corrective lenses. This person must wear corrective lenses, glasses or contacts, at all times when driving a vehicle. B. Outside rear view mirror. The vehicle the person is driving must have an outside rear view mirror, left side, on the car. C. Business purposes only. Driving privilege is limited to any driving necessary to maintain livelihood, e.g. to and from work, on the job, educational purposes, church, and for medical purposes. D. Employment purposes only. Driving privilege is limited to driving to and from work and on-the-job driving required by an employer or occupation. E. Daylight driving only. Dawn to dusk. F. Automatic transmission. This person can only drive a vehicle that has an automatic transmission. G. Power steering. This person can only drive a vehicle that has power steering. I. Directional signals. This person can only drive a vehicle that has mechanical signals. J. Grip on steering wheel. This person can only drive a vehicle that has a knob or grip on the steering wheel. K. Hearing aid. This person must wear a hearing aid at all times while driving. M. Hand controls or pedal extension. This person can only drive a vehicle that has hand controls or a pedal extension. N. Left foot accelerator. This person can only drive a vehicle that has a left foot accelerator. P. Probation interlock device. This person can only drive a vehicle that has a device that locks the ignition. S. Other restrictions. X. Medical alert bracelet. ID card requirements. All applicants for a Florida driver license or ID card must present. Step 1. Primary identification. Step 2. Proof of Social Security number, which can be a military ID, and Step 3. 2 documents that show your Florida residential address. All documents must be original or certified. Photocopies or notarized copies will not be accepted. If your name has changed since the issuance of the primary identification, you will need to present a name change document such as a marriage certificate, court order, or divorce decree to link the names between the primary identification and the name that will be used on the driver license or ID card. See page 79. Please visit flhsmv.gov what to bring to obtain a personalized list of requirements. Step 1. Primary identification. U.S. citizens must provide one of the following original or certified documents. Certified U.S. birth certificate, including territories and the District of Columbia. The birth certificate must be issued by a government agency. Hospital birth certificates will not be accepted. Valid U.S. passport or passport card. Consular report of birth abroad. Certificate of naturalization. Certificate of citizenship. Immigrants must provide one of the following original or certified documents. Valid alien registration receipt card, green card, Form I-151 or I-551, or permanent resident card. I-551 stamp in a valid passport with a valid U.S. visa affixed or on an approved I-94. Immigration judge's order, with the customer's A number, granting asylum. I-797, with the customer's A number, stating the customer has been granted asylum. I-797, I-94 indicating the customer entered as a refugee or another form from the Citizenship and Immigration Services, with the customer's A number, stating the customer's application for refugee status is approved. Canadian citizens must provide one of the following original or certified documents. Valid Canadian passport. Original or certified Canadian birth certificate. Canadian naturalization certificate. Canadian certificate of citizenship. Non-immigrants must provide one of the following original documents. Valid employment authorization card issued by the USCIS, Form I-688B or I-766. Proof of non-immigrant classification provided by USCIS or U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Form I-94, not expired, with required supporting attachments. I-94S must be accompanied by a valid passport with a valid U.S. visa affixed. Certain classifications require additional documentation. Some examples are: F1 and M1 classification must also be accompanied by an I-20. J1 or J2 designation must be accompanied by a DS 2019. Refugee, asylee, and parolee classifications must be accompanied by additional documentation, for example, I-94 with picture affixed. The following documents will only be accepted with a supporting document, including but not limited to a passport, Florida driver license or ID card, driver license from any other state, employment authorization card, employer identification from home country, identification from school or college, Social Security card or other citizenship and immigration services document, including I-571 travel document/refugee travel permit, I-512 parole letter accepted, IJO asylum or cancellation of removal, immigration judge's order granting asylum or cancellation of removal. Immigrants, Canadian citizens, and other non-immigrants applying for a Florida driver license may be issued a 60-day temporary driving permit without a photo. Non-U.S. citizens applying for an original ID card will be issued a receipt. FLHSMV will review the identification documents provided and electronically verify their validity with the Department of Homeland Security, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. If your identity and legal presence is verified, you will be issued a driver license or ID card at the issuance office. If proof of identity/legal presence does not verify, the transaction will require secondary verification. If the secondary proof of identity/legal presence verifies, the driver license or ID card will be mailed to you. If the secondary verification does not verify, the driver license or ID card issuance will be denied. Immigrants and non-immigrants can contact USCIS for more information about obtaining identification/legal presence documents. Step 2. Social Security number or secondary identification. Florida law requires the collection of your Social Security number. We will electronically verify the information you provide with the Social Security Administration. All applicants for a driver license or ID card must present one of the following original or certified documents: Social Security card, W-2 form, paycheck containing your complete Social Security number, 1099 form, pre-printed by issuer, military ID. The name on your Social Security document must match the name that you wish to have on your driver license or ID card. If you recently changed your name, you must update your records with the Social Security Administration first. If you have never been issued a Social Security number and you are a U.S. citizen or immigrant, you must provide one of the secondary documents listed below. All non-immigrants must provide one of the following secondary documents: a driver license from the District of Columbia, U.S. Territories, or one of our 50 states. An ID card from the District of Columbia, U.S. Territories, or one of our 50 states. United States military or military-dependent ID card. School record stating date of birth that must contain the registrar's signature. Transcript of the birth record filed with a public officer charged with the duty of recording certificates. An insurance policy on the customer's life that has been in force for at least 2 years and that has the month, day, and year of birth. Florida driver license record or ID card record. Selective service registration, draft card. Receipt copy of your last Florida driver license issuance. Immigration Form I-571. Federal Form DD-214, military record. Marriage certificate. Court order, which includes legal name. A Florida voter registration card, which was issued at least 3 months previously. Florida vehicle registration certificate obtained from the service center where the customer's vehicle was registered. Florida, or out-of-state registration certificate, if name and date of birth are shown. Parent consent form of minor, signed by the parent or legal guardian. Government-issued out-of-country passport, driver license, or ID card. Baptism certificate that shows date of birth and the place of baptism. Family Bible record or birth announcement in a baby book. Concealed weapons permit. Step 3, Proof of residential address ***. All applicants for a driver license or ID card must present 2 documents with their residential address. 1. Deed, mortgage, monthly mortgage statement, mortgage payment booklet, or residential rental/lease agreement. 2. Florida voter registration card. 3. Florida vehicle registration or title. 4. Florida vessel registration or title, if living on a boat/houseboat. 5. Statements. Contact your local driver license service center for information about using statements. 6. A utility hookup. 7. Automobile payment booklet. 8. Selective service card. 9. Medical or health card with address listed. 10. Current homeowner insurance policy or bill. 11. Current automobile insurance policy or bill. 12. Educational institution transcript forms for the current school year. 13. Unexpired professional license issued by a government agency in the U.S. 14. W-2 form or 1099 form. 15. Form DS-2019, Certificate of Eligibility for Exchange Visitor, J1, Status. 16. A letter from a homeless shelter, transitional service provider, or halfway house verifying that the customer resides at the shelter address. 17. Utility bills, mail from financial institutions, including checking, savings, or investment account statements. 18. Mail from federal, state, county or city government agencies, including city and county agencies. 19. Transient sexual offender/predator/career offender, FDLE registration form completed by local sheriff's department. * Individuals living with another person must present 2 documents and a letter from that person. ID cards. If you need an ID card, you can apply at any driver license service center. Persons holding a driver license who wish to obtain a Florida ID card must surrender their driver license. You are prohibited from holding both a driver license and an ID card at the same time. To obtain an ID card, you must 1. Be 5 years of age or older. Any person, regardless of age, can be issued an ID card if applying for a disabled parking permit. 2. Present required identification, proof of your social security number, and proof of residential address. ID cards issued to persons 5 to 14 years of age will be valid for 4 years, all others will be valid for 8 years. ID cards for homeless persons. If you are homeless, you can get an ID card at no cost. You must provide a current letter from a local homeless shelter verifying that you are homeless and meet the identification documentation requirements. ID cards for persons at or below poverty level. You can get an ID card at no cost, as long as you meet the identification documentation requirements and provide one of the following documents. Tax return from last year with gross income that meets 100% federal poverty level. Proof of enrollment in Access, the Department of Children and Families Florida Benefits Program. License renewal. Class E driver licenses are valid for 6 to 8 years. Expiration dates may vary for driver license renewals issued to non-immigrants. Your driver license may not be renewed if you are not eligible to receive a driver license. You did not answer a summons which involved a traffic violation. Your driver license is suspended, revoked, or cancelled. You do not present the required documentation. Renewal issuance requirements. 1. Present your old driver license. 2. Pass a vision exam. 3. If you have changed your address, you will need to provide 2 approved proof of address documents with your new address. 4. If your name has changed, you will need to provide the approved documents establishing your new name. Primary identification, proof of social security number, and 2 proofs of residential address, pages 73-76, are required if you have not been issued a Florida driver license or ID card in a field office since January 1, 2010. Any non-immigrant holding a driver license or ID card who needs a renewal or replacement driver license or ID card must apply in person. Renewing online. If you are a U.S. citizen or immigrant, you can renew your driver license online at mydmvportal.flhsmv.gov. You are not eligible for online renewal if your previous renewal was by phone, mail, or online. You are not a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. Your driving privilege is suspended, revoked, or cancelled and you want an ID card. After your request is processed, you will receive a 6 or 8 year license. Florida law requires that you destroy your old driver license after receiving the new driver license. Application for renewal received after the license expiration date, midnight of your birthday, requires a $15 late fee. Drivers 80 years old and older. All drivers who are 80 years of age or older and who are in the process of renewing their driver license are required to pass a vision exam. The exam may be administered at a driver license service center at no additional charge or by your Florida licensed healthcare practitioner, such as your medical doctor or optometrist. A vision examination report must be completed and submitted to FLHSMV if your vision test is administered by your doctor. See Form HSMV 72119. Once it is filed, you will then be able to renew online or by mail. Should you elect to have your vision exam at a local driver license service center, please schedule an appointment so that we can serve you more efficiently. Upon passing the vision exam, you can complete the renewal process. However, if a problem is detected, you will be referred to your eye doctor for follow-up, prior to being able to renew. Driver license/ID card replacement. If your driver license or ID card is lost or stolen, apply for a replacement immediately. A replacement can be obtained at a driver license service center or online at mydmvportal.flhsmv.gov. Coming in the fall of 2020. If the card was stolen and you provide a copy of the police report, in person, the replacement fee is waived as long as you are not making any changes to the card, otherwise there is a replacement fee. Replacement requirements. Primary identification, proof of social security number, and 2 proofs of residential address are required if you have not been issued a Florida driver license or ID card in a field office since January 1, 2010. If you have changed your address, you will need to provide 2 approved proof of address documents. If your name has changed, you will need to provide the approved documents establishing your new name. Change of address. You must obtain a new driver license within 30 calendar days of any change to your mailing or residential address. You may change the address on your driver license or ID card by 1. Visiting mydmvportal.flhsmv.gov. Coming in the fall of 2020. 2. Visiting your local driver license service center or tax collector's office. After receiving the new driver license, destroy your old license as required by Florida law. If you fail to report a change of address, you may not receive your motor vehicle registration renewal, your driver license renewal, or notices of potential sanctions. If you are pulled over by law enforcement and the address on your driver license is incorrect, you may receive a citation. Name changes. If your name has changed and you would like your name to appear on your driver license or ID card differently than it appears on your primary identification, you will need to present an original or certified government-issued marriage certificate, divorce decree, or court order as a name change document. Have your name changed on your Social Security card. Immigrants and non-immigrants must have your name changed on your United States Citizenship and Immigration Services documents before you can change your name on your Florida driver license or ID card. Canadian citizens must have your name changed on your Canadian passport before applying for a name change on your driver license or ID card. Veterans. Veteran designation on driver license or ID card. Any honorably discharged U.S. veteran may have the designation veteran placed on their driver license or ID card at no charge. The veteran will need to provide a copy of their DD-214 or other approved discharge document at the time of issuance. Exempt fees for 100% disabled U.S. veterans. Any veteran honorably discharged from the armed forces who was issued a valid ID card by the Department of Veterans Affairs, or a letter of disability determination from the Veterans Administration, and has been determined by the Veterans Administration to have a 100% service-connected disability, is exempt from paying certain driver license fees such as initial license fees and renewal fees. All ID card fees are exempt. Selective service. State law requires any male who is a U.S. citizen or immigrant, who is at least 18 years old but less than 26 years old, to comply with federal selective service system requirements when applying to receive a driver license, a learner's license, a commercial driver's license, an ID card, or a renewal or replacement card or license. www.sss.gov. Sexual offenders and sexual predators. Within 48 hours after completing the required initial registration as a sexual predator or sexual offender in Florida, all sexual predators and sexual offenders who are not incarcerated, including those who are under the supervision of the Florida Department of Corrections, shall register in person at a driver license service center or tax collector's office. The sexual predator or sexual offender must identify him or herself as such and provide their place of permanent or temporary residence. Post office box numbers may not be used in place of a physical residential address. Sexual offenders will have 943.0435F.S printed on the front of their driver license or ID card. Sexual predators will have sexual predator printed on the front of their driver license or ID card. Sexual predators and offenders must report in person to a driver license service center every time their license or ID card is subject to renewal and within 48 hours after any change in name or address. Career offenders. Career offenders are certain persons who are designated as habitual violent felony offenders, violent career criminals, or three-time violent felony offenders. Within 2 working days after completing the required registration as a career offender in Florida, all career offenders who are not incarcerated, including those who are under the supervision of the Florida Department of Corrections, shall register in person at the driver license service center. Career offenders must report in person to the driver license service center every time their driver license or ID card is subject to renewal and within 2 working days after any change in name or address. Emergency contact information. If you have a Florida driver license or ID card, register your emergency contact information at the FLHSMV website flhsmv.gov. This provides law enforcement with an immediate contact in case you are involved in a crash or emergency. Florida Organ and Tissue Donor Program. Donate Life Florida is the nonprofit organization that oversees the state's organ, eye, and tissue donor registry. The Joshua Abbott Organ and Tissue Donor Registry allows Floridians to join the state's organ and tissue donor registry when obtaining/renewing their license at a local driver license service center. DonateLifeFlorida.org. 1-877-FL-SHARE. Voluntary contributions. When you are applying for a driver license or ID card, you may voluntarily contribute to the following special trust funds: Autism Services and Supports, Childhood Cancer Foundation, Children's Hearing Help Fund, Disabled American Veterans, End Breast Cancer, Family First, Florida Council of the Blind, Healthcare Trust Fund, Hearing Research Institute Inc., Juvenile Diabetes Foundation INTL, Prevent Blindness Florida, Prevent Child Sexual Abuse, Ronald McDonald House, Senior Vision Services, State Homes for Veterans Trust Fund, Stop Heart Disease, Support Our Troops, the ARC of Florida. Imagine you've been in an emergency. Would law enforcement know who to call? Register today with Florida's Emergency Contact Information (ECI) system. It's free, quick and easy. ECI allows law enforcement to contact designated family or friends in an emergency situation. The system is securely maintained by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, FLHSMV, and can be accessed by law enforcement only in the event of an emergency. Floridians with a valid driver license or ID card may enter up to 2 emergency contacts. Residents can register or update their ECI free of charge at flhsmv.gov/ECI and in local driver license offices statewide. flhsmv.gov/ECI. Has your information changed? Go online and update your ECI to ensure that someone is there for you when you need them. For more information regarding this and other services provided by FLHSMV, visit www.flhsmv.gov. Fees. Fees for driver license/ID card. Initial license fee for first Florida license, $48. Learner's license, original, $48. Class E driver license renewal, $48. Learner's license renewal, $48. Replacement license, $25. ID card, original, $25. ID card, replacement or renewal, $25. Delinquent fee for renewals after expiration date, $15. Other fees. Written retests, Class E knowledge exam, $10. Driving skills retests, $20. Motorcycle endorsement, $7. Tax collector service fee, for services provided at a tax collector office, $6.25. Reinstatement fees. Administrative fee for insurance fraud, $180. Administrative fee alcohol and drug-related offenses, $130. After a license has been revoked, $75. After a license has been suspended, $45. Suspension for failure to pay or appear for a traffic citation, $60. Suspension for failure to pay child support, court-ordered, $60. Suspension for failure to pay child support, DOR, $45. Suspension for failure to pay court financial obligations, $60. Worthless checks, $55. Insurance reinstatement fees failure to maintain liability insurance, $15. Failure to maintain PIP insurance. First suspension, $150. Second suspension, $250. Third suspension, $500. First suspension resulting from a DUI conviction, $150. Second suspension resulting from a DUI conviction, $250. Third suspension resulting from a DUI conviction, $500. 2019 top citations for teens ages 15 to 19 violation citations. 1. Unlawful speed, 60,670. 2. Careless driving, 18,857. 3. Operating motor vehicle no proof of insurance, 10,728. 4. Operating motor vehicle without driver license, 8,002. 5. Failure to obey a traffic signal/device, 7,575. 6. Learner license violation, 7,129. 7. Failure to observe stop sign, 6,385. 8. Operating motor vehicle obscure/deface/no tag, reg. 6,207. 9. Fail to display driver license, 5,790. 10. Seat belt violation, 5,180. Source: Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. Share the road. YouCanStopPHT.com. Anyone could be a victim of human trafficking. Human trafficking knows no bounds. This modern-day form of slavery claims victims of all ages, sex, ethnicities, and demographics. You can save a life by knowing the signs and reporting the crime. Know the signs. Physical. Branding scars, burns, or tattoos. Malnourished. Serious dental issues. Disoriented or confused. Other physical signs of abuse. Verbal. Responds as if coached. Allows someone else to speak for them. Fearful, anxious, or paranoid. Medical. Drug addiction. Reluctant to discuss their injuries. Chronic cardio or respiratory problems. Infections. Sleep deprivation. Human trafficking is the biggest industry you have never heard of. According to the International Labour Organization, forced labor and human trafficking is a $150 billion industry globally with 20.9 million victims worldwide. Report the crime. Reporting human trafficking could save a life. National Human Trafficking Hotline. 1-888-373-7888. U.S. Department of Justice Hotline. 1-888-428-7581. Florida Abuse Hotline. 1-800-96-ABUSE. Report it to your local authorities or call 911. Florida Attorney General. Driving School Providers 11. Traffic Law Substance Abuse Education, TLSA, course. If you have never held or do not have in your possession a driver license in any state, country, or jurisdiction, you must complete a traffic law and substance abuse education course before applying for a driver license in the state of Florida. The driver education courses offered by some county school boards may substitute for this requirement. Please contact your local school board for further information. If you are under 21 years old and receive a notice of suspension for driving with a BAL of .02 to .05, you must complete a traffic law and substance abuse education course in order to reinstate your driver license on a hardship basis. Third-party driver license exams. Driver license exams, Class E knowledge examination, are now available from providers approved by FLHSMV. The online exam is available to students under 18 years of age, with parent/guardian certification. Students of all ages may take the exams with a private exam provider in an in-person setting. Basic Driver Improvement, BDI, course. You must complete a Basic Driver Improvement course, Traffic Collision Avoidance course, * if you want to retain your driver license in the following circumstances. You were a driver in a crash and are found at fault and someone was transported to the hospital. You had 2 crashes in a 2-year period, which resulted in property damage greater than $500. You were convicted of running a red light, passing a school bus when it displayed a stop signal, racing on the highway, reckless driving. If you receive a ticket for a non-criminal moving violation, and you do not hold a CDL, you may elect to attend a Basic Driver Improvement course in lieu of points on your driving record. You may not elect to attend if you were charged with exceeding the speed limit by more than 30 miles per hour. An individual who elects to attend a Basic Driver Improvement course for a non-criminal traffic citation will receive an 18% reduction toward the civil penalty. An up-to-date list of approved course providers can be found on our website, www.flhsmv.gov. In some cases, you may choose to attend a course to receive insurance discounts. This discount is solely at the discretion of your insurance company. If, as a result of a moving violation, you elect to attend and complete a Basic Driver Improvement course, you will receive the following benefits. 1. Insurance companies cannot impose an additional premium or refuse to renew a policy for motor vehicle insurance solely because the insured committed a non-criminal traffic infraction. With the following exceptions: a second infraction within 18 months, a third infraction within 36 months, or exceeding the speed limit by more than 15 miles per hour. 2. Points may not be added to your driver license record if adjudication of guilt is withheld. You may not make an election under this subsection if you have made this election in the preceding 12 months. A person may make no more than 5 elections in a lifetime. To determine if you are eligible to make an election to attend traffic school, check our website at flhsmv.gov. Within 30 days from the date you received the traffic citation and prior to attending class, you must 1. Inform the clerk of court in the county where you received the citation that you want to go to traffic school, and 2. Pay an election fee to the clerk of court in the county where you received the citation. A full list of your options for satisfying your traffic citation is on the back of the citation. You are required to choose one of the 3 options within 30 days of receiving the citation. Advanced Driver Improvement Courses. If your Florida driver license was suspended for points, as a habitual traffic offender, non-DUI, or by court order, you must complete an Advanced Driver Improvement course in order to reinstate your driving privileges. If you hold a Florida driver license and receive a citation for a moving violation in another state, that state may withhold adjudication if you complete a FLHSMV-approved Advanced Driver Improvement course. Licensed DUI programs. You may be required to complete a licensed DUI program if your license is administratively suspended for unlawful blood or breath alcohol level, refusal to submit to a breath, blood, or urine test, or conviction of driving under the influence or possession of a controlled substance. Older driver courses. A driving course just for older adults, 65 plus, can update drivers on traffic laws and suggest useful ways to adapt driving habits to accommodate aging. Some courses even qualify older drivers for a reduction in auto insurance costs. Driver License Testing 12. The purpose of the driver license examination is to determine that you 1. Can read and understand road signs, traffic signals, and highway markings. 2. Know Florida driving laws. 3. Meet minimum vision standards. 4. Have the knowledge, skills, and experience to drive safely. 5. Do not have any physical or mental conditions that would affect your ability to drive safely. Testing options. Driver license exams can be administered at state driver license service centers, driver education licensing assistance programs, DELUP, and authorized third-party testers. A list of driver license service centers can be found at flhsmv.gov. Driver Education, DELUP. Many driver education teachers assist the FLHSMV in licensing new drivers. Students who complete their driver license exams through approved DELUP courses in public or private schools will have the results entered into FLHSMV's test records by their driver education teacher. The exam results will be used for issuance of a learner's driver license or driver license. However, the Driver License Service Center may test any student again on a random basis before issuing a driver license. Third-party testing. The Class E Knowledge Exam is also available through third-party providers approved by FLHSMV. Students of all ages may take the exams with a provider that offers them in an in-person setting. Students under May 18 take the knowledge exam online. A list of approved third-party providers can be found at flhsmv.gov. License examinations. Persons applying for an original Florida driver license are required to take the following exams. Vision and hearing screening. Class E knowledge exam. Driving skills test. See page 71, Reciprocity, for exceptions where tests are waived. Vision. You must wear corrective lenses when you drive if you need to wear contact lenses or glasses to pass the vision test. The use of telescopic lenses to meet visual standards is not recognized in Florida. Your driving privilege will be revoked if you are unable to meet the minimum vision standards. 20/40 or better vision in each eye with or without corrective lenses meets state requirements without referral to an eye specialist. 20/50 or worse vision in either eye with or without corrective lenses are referred to an eye specialist for possible improvement. 20/70 vision in either eye, or both eyes together may pass after referral to an eye specialist, providing the vision in the worst eye is better than 20/200. If one eye is blind or 20/200 or worse, the other eye must be 20/40 or better with or without corrective lenses. The minimum acceptable field of vision for an applicant or licensed driver is 130 degrees. Class E Knowledge Exam. The Class E Knowledge Exam consists of 50 multiple-choice questions about 1. Florida traffic laws, 2. Safe driving practices, and 3. Identifying traffic controls. You will be expected to know seatbelt laws, traffic controls, vehicle control, lane controls, speed limits, turns, yielding the right of way, vehicle restrictions, parking restrictions, maintaining attention, headlight use, signaling, licensing, insurance, and more. It's all in this handbook. Driving skills test. No other passengers are permitted during the exam, unless a language interpreter is necessary. You will perform the following maneuvers on the driving exam. 3-point turn. Turn car around in a 20 to 40 foot space. Approach of crossing. Get in the proper lane and look in each direction. Observe right of way. Allow pedestrians to cross, pull over and stop for emergency vehicles, and don't enter an intersection where you will interfere with other traffic. Straight in parking. When properly parked, the vehicle should be centered inside the space with no part of the vehicle extending out in the traffic lane. Parking on a grade. Proper parking for uphill and downhill, with and without a curb. Stop quickly. Make a quick, safe stop when the examiner/agent instructs you. Backing. Back for a distance of 50 feet at a slow speed while looking to the rear. Do not use the rear view mirror or rear view camera monitor. Obey stop signs. Approach in the proper lane, come to a complete stop before reaching the stop line or crosswalk, and remain stopped until you can move safely. Obey traffic signals. Get into the proper lane and approach the light at a speed that will allow you to stop if the light should change. When the light turns green, do not move forward until the other traffic has cleared the intersection. Signal and turn. Get into the proper lane and signal your turn for the last 100 feet. You may use either hand signals or mechanical signals. Passing. Always look ahead and behind to make sure you can pass safely. Stay in proper lane. Drive in the right lane except on a one-way street. Do not change lanes until you may do so safely. Follow at a safe distance. Do not follow too closely behind other cars. Keep a minimum following distance of 3 to 4 seconds. Use proper posture. Keep both hands on the steering wheel and do not rest your elbow in the window. The examiner will explain any mistakes you may have made after the test is completed. If you fail the driving skills test, you will be asked to study or practice before returning for retesting. If you pass the driving skills test, the examiner will collect the fee and issue your driver license. Vehicle inspection. You must provide a vehicle, with a valid license plate and insurance, for the driving skills test. Your vehicle will be inspected to determine that it is safe for a driving test. The driving skills test will not be given if the examiner finds horn, rear view mirror, directional signals, steering wheel, brakes, tires, brake lights, or tail lights are defective or inoperable. No windshield wipers on the driver's side. No operable headlights when visibility is reduced. Cracked or broken glass that hinders visibility. Expired tag. The vehicle doesn't have doors. Front doors don't open from the inside and outside. Vehicle does not have stationary seats. Vehicle does not permit the driver to give hand signals when required. Jeep-type vehicles without framed canvas or metal doors held by hinges and door latch. Doesn't meet bumper height requirements. A low-speed vehicle. Maintain and inspect your tires. Watch for motorcycles. Driver tips. 1. After a crash involving a motorcycle, drivers often say, "I didn't see him." Increased awareness of motorcycles will make you more likely to see them. 2. Motorcycles are often hidden in blind spots or masked by objects or conditions outside the car, bushes, fences, bridges, the sun, etc. Take extra time to look for motorcycles. 3. Always assume a motorcycle is closer than it appears. Its speed and distance is difficult for drivers to judge. 4. Don't expect that a motorcyclist will always be able to maneuver out of the way. 5. Depending on road conditions, a motorcyclist may take longer to stop. Always allow more following distance behind a motorcycle. 6. Motorcyclists often slow down by downshifting or rolling off the throttle, thus not activating the brake light. Allow more following distance, and at intersections anticipate a motorcyclist may slow down without visual warning. 7. When you watch for motorcycles, see more than the motorcycle, see the person under the helmet. He or she could be your friend, neighbor, or relative. www.ridesmartflorida.com. Study Guide for Knowledge Exam. 1A. In your vehicle, what should you adjust before you start your engine? 1B. What are the equipment requirements for windshields and side windows? 1C. What are bumper height requirements? Are they the same for every vehicle? 1D. What must you do if hauling a load of material which could fall or blow onto the roadway? 1E. When a projected load extends more than 4 feet from the vehicle, what must you use to clearly mark it in the daytime? At night? 2A. Why is drowsy driving dangerous? 2B. What should you do if another driver is threatening you or intentionally driving dangerously around you? 2C. What are the 3 main categories of distracted driving? 2D. Why is texting one of the most dangerous distracted driving behaviors? 2E. Can anyone drink and drive safely? 2F. Both your judgment and vision are affected after drinking alcohol. Which is affected first? 3A. What can happen to you if you are in a crash and not wearing a seat belt? 3B. What age are children required to be in a car seat? In a car seat or booster seat? 3C. If a law enforcement officer stops a vehicle and the front seat passenger under 18 years old is not wearing a safety belt, who will be charged with the seat belt violation? 4A. What does a single broken white line on the highway mean? 4B. What does a double solid yellow line in the center of the highway mean? A double solid white line? 4C. What does a solid yellow line to the right of the center line of the highway mean? 4D. What do the colors of traffic signs indicate? Red, orange, yellow, etc. 4E. When more than one vehicle approaches a 4-way stop sign, which one moves first? 4F. What does a red traffic light mean? What does a flashing red traffic light mean? 4 grams. After a full stop at a red traffic light, when may a driver turn right? 4H. What does a green arrow showing at the same time as a red traffic light mean you can do? 4I. What does a flashing yellow light mean? 4J. If you are approaching a railroad crossing that does not have gates or lights and you see a train coming, what should you do? 5A. What happens to the force of impact when you double your speed? Triple your speed? 5B. Unless otherwise posted, what is the speed limit for cars in a residential area? 5C. What is the maximum speed limit on a limited access highway? 5D. Can you be issued a citation for driving too slowly? 5E. What are the steps for making a smooth stop? 5F. What is the arm signal for a left turn? Right turn? Slow or stop? 5 grams. How long, distance, should you signal before making a left or right turn? 5H. When can you use a 3-point turn? Where should you never make a 3-point turn? 5I. What is an open intersection? When must you yield right of way? 5J. When may you drive in the left lane of a road with 2 lanes? With 4 lanes? 5K. What does it mean if you see red reflectors on the lane lines facing you? What should you do? 5 liters. What is the recommended safe following distance? 5m. When should you increase your following distance? 5n. What are blind spots? 5o. How do you check your blind spots when you are preparing to change lanes or turn? 5p. Where is it unlawful to overtake and pass? 5 quetzales. Under what circumstances can you stop in the acceleration lane on an expressway? 5r. What should you do if you drive past your exit on a limited access highway? 5s. Where should you move your vehicle if you break down while driving on the highway? 5 tons. What is the farthest away you can park from a curb? 5u. If you have a manual transmission, what gear should you put the car in when parking downhill? Uphill? What if you have an automatic transmission? 5v. Where is parking prohibited? 5w. Which way should you turn your wheels when parking uphill along a curb? Which way should you turn them where there is not a curb? Which way should you turn them if parking downhill? 6a. Are motorists required to stop or yield for pedestrians crossing the street? 6b. What must you do when you see a pedestrian with a white cane in the street ahead of you? 6c. What is the minimum distance a motorist must give when traveling next to a cyclist? 6d. As a motorist, what should you do when preparing to turn right on a roadway with a bike lane? 6e. When on the roadway, do motorcyclists and moped riders have the same rights and responsibilities as motor vehicle drivers? 6f. If you are driving a motor vehicle, are you allowed to share a lane with a motorcyclist? 6 grams. When a school bus is stopped to unload children on a highway divided with a raised barrier, are vehicles traveling in the opposite direction required to stop? 6h. When a school bus stops to unload children, are vehicles traveling in the same direction required to stop? 6i. What must you do when children or school crossing guards are present in a crosswalk? 6j. What must you do if an emergency vehicle with activated lights and or sirens is approaching you from behind? 6k. What does the move over law require you to do? 6 liters. What is a no zone? 7a. At what times must you use your headlights? 7b. At night, within how many feet of approaching a vehicle from the rear must you dim your high beam headlights? 7c. Within how many feet of an oncoming vehicle should you dim your high beam headlights? 7d. When driving in the rain, fog, or smoke in the daytime, what lights should you use? 7e. What should you do when driving on wet roads in the rain? Why? 8a. What should you do if your right wheels go off the pavement while driving? 8b. What should you do if your tires begin to skid while driving? 8c. When emergency braking, what is the difference between conventional brakes and anti-lock brakes, ABS? 8d. What should you do during a tire blowout? 8e. What must you do if you are involved in a minor accident and your vehicle is blocking the flow of traffic? 8f. If you hit a parked car and are unable to find the owner, what should you do? 8 grams. What are the penalties for leaving the scene of an accident involving injury or death? 9a. What are the requirements of the no-fault law? 9b. If your license and registration are suspended for being in violation of the no-fault law, what must you do to get them reinstated? 9c. What are the penalties if you are at fault in a crash and you are not insured in compliance with the financial responsibility law? 9d. What are the time restrictions for a motorist with a learner's license? 9e. What are the time restrictions for a licensed motorist under age 17? Under age 18? 9F. When can you be charged with driving under the influence, DUI? 9 grams. What are the penalties for refusing to take a blood test, a urine test, or a breath test when suspected of driving under the influence? 9H. What can happen if you are found guilty of racing on the highway? 10A. If you have a learner's license, how many hours of driving experience are required to earn the Class E driver license? 10B. What education course are you required to take if you are applying for a learner's license, or have never held a driver license? 10C. Are you required to notify FLHSMV of any health problems that may affect your driving? 11. Why would one opt to take a basic driver improvement course? 12. What maneuvers are required on a driving exam? For the answers to these questions and other resources, please visit flhsmv.gov/handbooks.